Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Became the Sarcasm King with a Comedian Quirk movie. Before we start, please go support Luis on 2234V for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. A boy with a very powerful quirk. He is a comedian. He is called the Devil, the master of sarcasm. He will always make you laugh. One day, he decides to go to a school of heroes. Why? Simple for the anecdote. Chapter 1. Hello, I'm Izuku Escamilla. We can see the great Academy of Heroes UA. In the director's office we can see how 4 people were. Nizu, so you're telling me you want to get into UA, he said. Izuku, indeed, he said while nodding. Aizawa, why? He said confused. Izuku, PSS, for the anecdote dude, he said shrugging his shoulders. Nizu, are you telling me that you are asking to enter the best hero academy in the world just to have an anecdote to tell in your future shows? He said confused. Izuku, yes, he said, downplaying it. Nizu, meh, I don't see why not. Go to class B, Vlad will be waiting for you, he said, taking his phone. Izuku, really? He said, amazed it was a big deal. Dude, he said, trying to leave, but Aizawa grabbed him with his bandages. Aizawa, you asked for a place, now you stay, he said seriously. Nizu, don't worry, young man, you will be allowed to go out whenever you have a show, he said while Izuku reluctantly agreed. After that Izuku went through the halls where the students looked at him in amazement, and it was no wonder. He was the best comedian in Japan and even in the world. In the academy it was not something normal. He passed by 1A and saw him, his childhood friend, Katsuki Bakugo. He was surprised but decided to check. He entered the classroom where everyone stared at him in amazement. Some girls started to scream and the others were just excited. Some blushed because of how handsome the young man was, but they were confused when they saw that he stood in front of Bakugo. Bakugo, what's up, shit? He said, irritated. Izuku asked. Bakugo, pay attention. At that moment the two stared at each other. Bakugo stood up from his seat and stared at the green-haired boy. Those from 1A were worried. They thought they would fight, but Izuku/Bakugo, asshole, they shouted happily while hugging each other. Izuku, damn asshole, he's bigger. Son of a hitch, he said, separating from the hug. Bakugo, yes, you know that since the last time we faced each other my power went up, he said looking at Izuku. Izuku, he did what? He said confused. Bakugo, went up. Izuku, my hick with a flower, he said, showing her a picture of his penis with a sunflower. At this some girls who saw the photo blushed. Girls, how great, they thought, blushing. But the situation of the boys was different. Bakugo, why a sunflower, dude? He said confused. Izuku, I don't know, it's so it doesn't look small. Can you imagine if I put a bucking pink one on it, and apart from the fact that I prick my balls it would look really small, he said laughing. Bakugo, but leaving that aside, what are you doing here, you useless piece of shit? Aren't you a comedian and a suck-up? He said, making stars with his hands. Izuku, oh, I'll study here, he said, shrugging his shoulders. Kaminari, will you study here? He said excitedly. Izuku, yes, in Class B, he said with a smile. Class A, lucky ones, they thought in unison. Izuku, well, I'm leaving, lazy ass, he said, passing through the door. Bakugo, buck you, asshole, you bucking ass, he said, this annoying but mockingly. At that moment the green-haired boy got into a running pose. Izuku, pay attention, he said, this one to run away. At that moment Bakugo realized what he said. The class started laughing and Bakugo, damn loser, he said angrily. At this the green-haired boy just turned around and stood in the doorway while taking out his phone. Izuku, my whistle with a flower, he said, showing him the photo again, and then running away again. Bakugo was going to chase him, but he couldn't since Aizawa had entered the room. Aizawa, class is about to start, he said this, so Bakugo reluctantly sat down. Bakugo, that idiot will pay for this, it's good that he's back, he thought with a smile. Momo, hey professor, a question, she said, raising her hand. Why will Izuku Escamilla study at the UA, she said excitedly. Aizawa, because he wants anecdotes for his future show. Now let's start, said this boring guy. He only came for that, they thought with a drop of sweat. Now we can see how Izuku walked through the halls where more people asked him for photos. He calmly only said yes until he reached classroom 1B where he entered. He did not see the teacher, but all the students saw him impressed. Class B, Izuku Escamilla? They said, surprised and excited. Izuku, what's up? He said, surprised. Kendo, what are you doing here, sir? She said, surprised. It should be noted that Izuku looks a little older for his age. Izuku, well, I came to study, dude. Do you really think that the academy uniform and the pipeline backpack are part of my outfit? He said sarcastically, and don't call me Sir Doubt. I'm not that old, I'm your age, he said, laughing. Monoma, are you coming to study? He said, surprised. Izuku, damn, he said, raising his thumb. Kendo, well then you can sit wherever you like, she said, a little nervous. Something that Class B didn't know was that Kendo was a big fan of the comedian, to the point that he had some figures and posters of him. Izuku, hey, don't be like that, treat me like you, right now I'm like you, a simple student, he said with a smile. Kendo at that moment just acknowledged with a blush. But no one could continue as they heard a voice. Vlad, the devil himself, he said with a smile while Izuku turned to look. But what they didn't realize is that that nickname had caught the attention of one person, but not for good. Ibara, devil? She thought, confused and upset. Izuku, Vlad? He said with a smile. Old man, are you a teacher? He said excitedly. At that moment, Class B was surprised, because if they knew anything about their teacher, it was that he was someone who didn't like to be addressed as you, and he was very serious. Vlad, dude, how are you? What are you doing here? He said, confused, but look at how he is dressed. Are you the new student? He said with a smile. Izuku, exactly, he said with a smile. Apparently you became a hero, huh? He said with a smile. Vlad, that's right, I'm a pro hero, he said with a smile. Izuku, a hero who? Vlad, a pro hero. Izuku, my hick with a flower, he said, showing him the photo of his hick with a sunflower. Almost no one had seen the photo, but the girls blushed, but one had seen the photo. Yui, it's big, she thought with a blush. What am I thinking, she thought. Vlad, well, devil, introduce yourself, and at lunch your classmates will show you the academy, and your dorm at the exit, is that clear? He said, looking at his students, and they agreed. Izuku, well, it's a pleasure. My name is Izuku Escamilla, comedian, philanthropist, musician, model, buck boy, and next president of Mexico. It's a pleasure, he said with a mocking smile. All Mexico? They thought with a drop of sweat. A great day. We can see how the green-haired boy was sitting listening to Vlad's class, but the bell rings. Vlad, well, the day is over. Show Escamilla the facilities and the bedroom. See you later. Devil, he didn't answer. Wake him up, he said, laughing before leaving. Setsuna, hey Escamilla, time to wake up. This did not answer. Escamilla? He said, this moving it a little. At that moment everyone sees how Izuku disappears into smoke. Ibara, what happened? She said, confused. Kendo, did it go up in smoke? She said, confused. Monoma, if you don't want to be with us, just say so, he said, somewhat annoyed, but no one could continue when they saw the real Izuku fall from the ceiling. Izuku, I'm done? He said while yawning. All, he was sleeping? These unbelievers said. Izuku, what's the deal? Why are you looking at me? Do you like me? He said sarcastically. Setsuna, yes, she said with a silly smile and hearts in her pupils. At that moment all the girls looked at Setsuna strangely, since she was the one who rejected boys. They never imagined that she would like one, but apparently you have to be famous and handsome to make her fall in love with you. Izuku. At that moment Setsuna just reacted and blushed a little, playing with her fingers. Everyone was surprised. They had never seen that phase of Setsuna. But no one could continue when they saw the door being opened. Bakugo, hey nerd, I present to you half-half. He can bring out fire and ice from every part of his body, he said, introducing Todoroki. Todoroki, hello, he said, this neutral. Izuku, you said fire and ice? He said, confused. Bakugo, yeah, what's on your mind, asshole? He said with a smile. Izuku, if we put water in his mouth, and he activates his heat and ice at the same time, does it evaporate or freeze? At that moment the three boys looked at each other with their eyes wide open. Bakugo, let's find out, he said while the other two agreed quickly. Izuku, we'll see the academy and all that shit, I don't care about it. But I'll pretend like it later, he said looking at his classroom. I love you, damn it, he said as he ran away. All, he loves us, they thought with a drop of sweat. Ibara, later I will ask him why they call him devil, she thought. She was a little upset. We can see how the three students ran as if there was no tomorrow. They quickly entered, scaring everyone, but they did not care less and ran to the refrigerator and took a jug of water. Izuku, who here has a phone? He asked, confused. At that moment a girl spoke. Momo, I have, she said, showing it. Izuku, well, call your bucking mother, you can't miss this, he said, offending Momo. Momo, what did you say? Don't you know who I am? She said, annoyed. Izuku, yes, he said with a smile. Momo, so? Izuku, I don't give a shit, he said, this to see how upset Momo would be. Momo, do you think that just because you are someone famous you are encouraged to do everything? Well, no, she said, annoyed. Izuku, who? He said, irritated. Momo, you, she said angrily. Izuku, no, who asked you, you bucking motherbucker? He said this to start encouraging Todoroki, who was drinking the jar. At that moment Momo was just in shock. She was humiliated. She didn't say anything, and with a depressive aura she sat on the sofa. Now we can see how Todoroki activated both quirks while he had the liquid in his mouth. After a while we can see how Todoroki deactivates them. Bakugo, so? He said impatiently. The moment Todoroki opened his mouth they saw a strange liquid. It was something that looked melted but at the same time frozen. Izuku, that shit, don't believe me, but it's not normal, he said, moving away a little. At that moment everyone approached to see the substance, but they got a little worried when they saw how Todoroki didn't move. Izuku, brother, what's wrong? He said, worried. Todoroki, I can't feel my balls. Bakugo, what? He said in shock. Todoroki, I don't feel my balls, he said in shock. Izuku, wait a minute, he said, raising his voice. I have the scientific solution for this, he said. So everyone agreed. I'm sorry, brother, he said to give him a big blow between his legs. How do you feel? He said, worried. Todoroki, I'm sorry, he said, but he started to feel the pain between his legs increasing. Todoroki, he said in pain. Damn him, he said, hitting him back. Izuku. After that we can see Izuku cleaning the bedrooms of 1B. Izuku, I don't even know this shit, and I'm already cleaning it up. What is this? And in this one said, annoyed. Kendo, well, that's the tea, the punishment Vlad gave you for doing that to Todoroki, she said nervously. Izuku, but why wasn't he punished? Is this some kind of racism towards Mexicans? He said indignantly. Ibara, hey, I have a question. Why do they call you the devil? She said, annoyed. Izuku, you don't give a shit, you bucking stupid girl, he said angrily. At that moment everyone saw the green-haired boy with a bad face, but he was upset. He was not up for stupid things like he says. Ibara, excuse me? Said this annoyed. Izuku, yes, I forgive you, now shut up, he said to start cleaning the screen. Monoma, you can tell that fame changes you, he said, bothering the green-haired boy. Izuku, ta good, he said, raising his thumb. Reiko, why are you like this? She said angrily. Izuku, because I have to be, he said with a big smile. I have to make people laugh so they pay me and I can live. Do you know how much the Shiva's shirt costs? It's expensive, he said, emphasizing it, but let's see. I don't want to be seen as the bad guy. They call me devil because I like black humor, sarcasm, satire, he said, proud of himself. Ibara, idiot, said this annoying woman. At that moment everyone looked at Ibara in shock. If there was one thing she never did, it was insult. She was really upset with the green-haired boy. Izuku, imbecile, Mongol, stupid, asshole, I've heard a lot about that, and it makes me proud, he said with a big smile and a treacherous stare. Kendo saw this with a serious face on the outside, but inside he was dying of laughter. He was funny everywhere, and even though he insulted his teammates a little, his insults made him laugh. Yui, you are an idiot, she said angrily. Izuku, and you are very beautiful, you see, I told you a truth, you told me a truth, we are even, he said, blushing at Yui. Yui, fool, she said, pouting and turning to the other side. Izuku, I knew it was you. Come here, he said with a smile so everyone could see how Yui hugged Izuku. At that moment everyone was surprised. Yui was not one to show feelings, much less hug people. Yui, it's been a long time, hasn't it? He said with a smile. Izuku, it's been 84 years, he said in a dramatic tone. Yui, yeah, don't be dramatic, he said, stroking her hair. I miss you, he said with a smile. Izuku, I miss you too, he said, separating from the hug. Kendo, do they know each other? She said, somewhat jealous. Izuku, we've been best friends since we were little, but when we were 10 we broke up. I went to Mexico where I became a comedian, and then I came to Japan and hope to meet her again. It's good that the Virgin helps me, he said with a smile, caressing Yui's hair, making her blush a little. Yui, well, now we've introduced ourselves and met again. Apologize, stupid, she said, giving Izuku a slap. Izuku, yes, I'm sorry, he said, bowing in fear. Yui, what else, she said, grabbing the green-haired boy's hair. Izuku, sorry for insulting you, he said, looking at Ibara. Yui, apart, she said, tightening her grip. Izuku, sorry for acting like an idiot, he said with a little pain. Yui, aha, she said, starting to pull even harder. Izuku, I hope you forgive me and we can be good partners, he said with fear. Yui, and the last thing, she said with a slight smile. Izuku, are you really going to make me say it in front of them? He said while looking at her. Yui, the last one, he said with a frightening look, pulling more. Izuku, sigh as if you have a problem. You can let my owner Yui know, he said through clenched teeth while Yui let go of his hair. At that moment everyone started laughing at the humiliated green-haired boy. Yui just caressed his hair. Yui, well boy, he said, laughing a little while the green-haired boy blushed. Reiko, oh what a nice puppy, what's his name? She said mockingly, looking at Yui. Izuku, my name is bucking your mother Escamilla, he said angrily. Yui just grabs the green-haired boy's hair. Izuku, my name is Izuku Escamilla, he said with a big fake smile. Reiko, okay boy, she said while caressing the green-haired boy's hair. At that moment the green-haired boy was upset, but what could he do? If he knew anything in this life, it was that he shouldn't make two people angry, his holy mother and Yui. Ibara, oh what a cute dog, she said, approaching the green-haired boy. Izuku, what do you want, idiot? He said, annoyed, but Yui pulled his hair. Shit, he said, annoyed. Yui, what did you say? He said with a glare. Izuku, someone is coming, he said angrily. Yui, that's what I thought, she said while caressing the green-haired boy's hair. Izuku, not even God can save you, he said, looking at Ibara. Ibara, I have God on my side, she said mockingly, taking her crucifix. Yui, well then we're going to sleep, she said, taking the green-haired boy by the hair to take him away. But before anyone could say anything, she took him away. Setsuna, how I wish you would obey me like that, she said, watching how they took the green-haired boy away. Kendo, well, at least we'll have someone to control it, she said while everyone agreed. Izuku, it was a good day, he thought. Now we can see how in Yui's room she is hugging the green-haired boy possessively. Yui, I miss you, silly, she said with a smile, but now you won't leave and you will be mine forever, my Izuku, she thought with a smile. Type like this. Izuku, I miss you too, Yui, he said, giving her a kiss on the forehead that made her blush and then fall asleep. Yes, a great day. Hero Training 1. It was a relatively quiet morning if it weren't for Izuku, to the mother. Why Yui, I can't breathe, he said, this being hugged by Yui possessively while putting his face in her breasts. Yui, if you ask me nicely maybe I'll think about it, she said with a smile. Izuku, are you really going to make me tell it? He said, almost purple. Yui, say it. Izuku, I'll love why Yui, let me go, he said, trying to breathe. At that moment Yui released the green-haired boy while he was breathing heavily. Izuku, ugh, I almost appeared in 1,000 ways to die by the hick, he said, coughing a little. Yui, don't be so exaggerated, hug me, okay? She said, hiding in the green-haired boy's chest. I really missed you, she said with a big smile as she felt the green-haired boy's arms. Izuku, I will never leave your side again, of course, if you let this crazy son of a hitch be by your side, he said, smiling. Yui, always, she said, giving the green-haired boy a kiss on the cheek. After that the two went down, and saw how everyone was gathered to eat. Setsuna, hey Yui, can I borrow your dog? She said mockingly. Yui, no, he's mine and no one else's, she said with a smile that showed more of a hint of madness than joy. Izuku, ah, you little brat, he said with fear. Kendo, gee, good morning, Izuku, she said with a slight blush. Everyone, Izuku, they thought, surprised. Izuku, good morning, Kendo, he said with a smile. At that moment everyone sat down to eat because they had to go to class. After everyone ate, Izuku noticed how Ibra looked at him in a peculiar way, an annoyed way, but at the same time wanting to do something to him. He just ignored her until they got to the classroom and passed in front of 1A. Bakugo, as he said, calling the green-haired boy. Izuku, ready, he said, approaching. Todoroki, your old ladies, he said as he approached. At that moment everyone saw Todoroki with a surprised face. Did he just make a joke? That was new. These three started talking. Room 1B just continued on their way to their classroom. They continued until someone arrived. Aizawa, to your classroom, he said inside his jacket. Izuku, buck a caterpillar, he said, giving Aizawa a hard time. Aizawa, what's wrong with you? He said angrily. Izuku, oh sorry asshole, he nervously said. Aizawa, how about me? Never mind, go to your classroom, he said while the green-haired boy agreed. Todoroki, today at 8? He said. Bakugo/Izuku, there you go, they said, nodding. After that, the green-haired boy headed towards his classroom. Upon entering he could see that Vlad was already teaching. He just stared at him with a disappointed face. Vlad, you're late, 50 plates, he said, pointing to the floor. Izuku. All the students laughed a little. Yui looked at the green-haired boy with a disappointed face while Ibra looked at him annoyed. He was about to leave the classroom, but... Vlad, if you don't do them I'll call Conchita and tell her that you were late and even disrespected a teacher, he said with a smile. Izuku, you wouldn't dare, he said seriously. Vlad, oh no? He said, taking his phone. Hello, he said, making Izuku nervous. Conchita, Vlad's son, what's up? She said happily. Vlad, Conchi, here with a problem. Izuku arrived late. I told him to do 50 push-ups as punishment, and he called me an idiot. He was about to leave the room and I threatened to call you. He didn't take it seriously, and here we are, he said to see how Izuku began to tremble. Conchita, this idiot, she said angrily, put me on speakerphone, she said so Vlad would nod. Izuku, hello G grandma, he said nervously. Conchita, what do you mean, grandma, you are of a hitch. Look here, kid, you're going to listen and behave, because if not, I'm going to leave this house and it's going to be to go and beat the shit out of you in front of your classmates so they can see how I educate you. Do you understand, you stupid kid? She said, upset. Izuku, why yes G grandma, he said with fear. Conchita, well, I'm leaving, eat well, I love you, she said this to hang up. At that moment Izuku looked at Vlad as if he wanted to kill him. Izuku, so you chose the path of death, he said slowly to Vlad. Vlad, I can say the same, he said, this one also at a slow pace. The whole room could see the tension between these two. Izuku/Vlad. These were about to be released, but... I'm coming in like a normal person, said a tall muscular man who came through the door in a somewhat strange way. All Might, they said, surprised. At that moment the tension between Izuku and Vlad dissolved, but a stronger one grew. All Might, Escamilla. Izuku, All Might. At that moment the students felt as if something very ugly was about to happen. Izuku and All Might approached slowly, until they were in front of each other. They looked serious, but... All Might/Izuku, give me your autograph, they said excitedly to each other. All Might, of course. Izuku, of course, asshole. At that moment, a drop of sweat broke out in the entire class after both of them gave each other their autographs. All Might explained about the hero training. They excitedly went to change into their hero suits and headed towards the battlefield. All Might, you guys look great, now let's... Kendo, wait, Izuku is missing, he said this, but everyone looked back when they saw Izuku coming. All the girls, what I mean is all of them, including Ibra, blushed when they saw the green-haired boy's outfit. It was an outfit similar to Ibra's, except this one uncovered part of his chest, letting his muscles show. These girls were drooling and could only appreciate the green-haired boy's well-worked physique. "Girls, how is he so beautiful?" they said with a slight trickle of blood coming out of their nose. All Might, "Well then let's begin," he said with a slight drop of sweat. After All Might gave the teams, the battles were happening, until the last fight came. All Might, Team C, Escamilla and Shiozaki as heroes, and Team B, Kendo and Tokage as villains. "Go get ready," he said, so everyone acknowledged. At that moment the villains headed towards the bomb site, and Izuku and Ibra stayed outside. "Ibra, so do you have a plan?" she said, confused and with a slight blush. Izuku, "Yeah, go get those motherbuckers," he said with a smile. "Ibra, don't call a girl that," she said angrily. Izuku, "What the hell," he said angrily. "Ibra, you are the one who bothers, why are you like this?" "You will never make friends," she said angrily. Izuku, "I don't even want stupid people around me if I can barely stand you guys," he said the same. Ibra, "Stupid," said this annoying. Izuku, "Ah," he said sighing, "look, I'll activate my quirk. With my quirk my personality changes a lot, don't make fun of me later," he said angrily. Ibra, yes. As if it were, she remained silent, and with her mouth open there he was, a glorious, majestic and handsome angel in front of her eyes. Izuku, "Shall we begin, Miss Shiozaki?" he said with a smile that made her blush. Ibra, "Why yes," she said blushing, "he is very beautiful, he is even more polite, this is love at first sight, but how does it go from that to this? Although in his normal form he is also cute." "No, Ibra, concentrate, what are you thinking? Although he is very tender too," she thought, blushing. Izuku, "Well, let's go," he said with a big smile. Hero Training 2. We can see how and as I said, all the girls were blushing at the green-haired boy's appearance. Ibra was the most blushing. She had just seen a majestic angel next to her. She was about to jump in to kiss him, but had to control herself. Izuku, "So are we going, Miss Shiozaki?" He said this so that Ibra blushed and agreed. So the two entered the building, and the first thing they see when they enter are some eyes on the ceiling. Setsuna, "Hello heroes," she said with a big blush at seeing Izuku. Izuku, "Oh Miss Tokage, forgive me for what I'm going to do, but I have no other choice. I'm Miss Shiozaki's team, and you must help her win. Please forgive me," he said while bowing. At that moment everyone saw how the green-haired boy's eyes lit up and then went out. Everyone thought that their attack hadn't worked, but they were shocked to see how a part of his body had separated just like Setsuna. Izuku, "Skill copied," he said this in a quick movement to launch himself towards where Tokage's neck was, and without giving him time to separate he hit him to see how Setsuna fell unconscious to the ground while he reassembled himself. At that moment the green-haired man also rebuilt himself again. Ibra, "Great," she said surprised. "What is your quirk?" she said curious. Izuku, "I called it Divine Eyes," he said with a smile. "It allows me to copy any peculiarity with the knowledge of the possessor about it. I mean, I'm a copy of the bearer, but with my intelligence increased," he said with a big smile that made her blush. Ibra, It's very cool," she said with a smile, to which Izuku responded, "Well, let's continue," she said blushing, so Izuku nodded. After that the two went up until they found the bomb room with Kendo already monitoring it. "Kendo, Escamilla?" she said surprised and with a big blush. Izuku, "Miss Kendo," he said with a smile that made her blush. "I think you should take care of her, Shiozaki. You are also in training, right? I don't want you to get hurt, but you should fight too," he said with a smile that made both of them blush while Ibra agreed. At that moment Izuku just sat on the floor to watch the fight. Ibra in a quick movement was able to use the vines of her hair to try to immobilize Kendo, but with the strength of her enlarged hands she was able to cut the thorns that were heading towards her. "Kendo, I see you're strong, huh?" she said, freeing herself from the thorns with a little difficulty. Ibra, "Yes, apparently you too," she said, sending thorns at him. After a while they were both very tired until All Might, "Time's up, the villains win," he said over the speakers. At that moment both Kendo and Ibra stopped the battle. They were about to collapse, but they saw how a feather took them by the suit and raised them a little. "Izuku, you must be very tired, right? You did very well, Miss Shiozaki, you will be a great heroine," he said with a smile and began to walk. At that moment the two girls just remained unconscious while being carried by Izuku's wings. He also came down, and found Setsuna half awake, but because of the tiredness, he took her too. After that he took them to the infirmary, and then returned to where the others were. After All Might said the good and bad of each one, they returned to the locker room where Izuku deactivated his quirk, returning to his sarcastic and playful personality. He only met Yui, who hugged him in a very possessive way. When she saw how several girls looked at him, both went to the infirmary to see their companions. They entered, and the first thing they saw was how everyone was waking up. He just sat next to Ibra to wait for her to wake up. Moments later she did. "Ibra, where am I?" she said, looking at the white ceiling. "Izuku, you're in the infirmary," he said, laughing a little. "Ibra, Escamilla, Yui?" she said, confused when she saw the two. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Yui, Izuku was worried about you," she said, upset and jealous. Izuku, "Hey, I didn't care about her," he said with a slight blush. He sighed. "Look, I just wanted to apologize for treating you like that day, and to tell you that I think you're someone very cool, Miss Shiozaki," he said with a big smile that caused Ibra to blush and made Yui jealous. "Ibra, apology accepted," she said with a blush. Izuku, "Ah, well, thank you for giving me. Come on, Yui. Before you kill her," he said, carrying Yui in a bridal manner, blushing her, and then taking her away. "Ibra, Izuku, Escamilla, why do you do this to me?" she said with a slight blush. "What did you do?" We can see how in the UA Academy the green-haired boy walked through the halls. Izuku, "Damn, that night was crazy," he said, remembering the previous night with Shoto and Bakugo. "Haha, we got drunk," he said, laughing. At that moment, as he was laughing, he didn't realize that he had collided with someone. Izuku, "Oh my god, my Asian," he said, rubbing his back. "Look at that damn thing," he said angrily. Reiko, "But it was your fault," she said, also upset. Izuku, "Buck you," he said this as he was about to leave. Reiko, "Yours in vinegar," she said with a smile, pretending to be the winner. Ladies, gentlemen, do not challenge the king of satire. Izuku, "Well, I'll buck yours at 3 in the afternoon, at the Velarde circus, while your father applauds me." "Idiot," he said, annoyed. KO. At that moment you see how Reiko was about to hit the green-haired boy, but Yui, "Izuku," she said, throwing herself at the green-haired boy and hanging on his neck. "What are you doing here with her alone?" she said, annoyed. Izuku, "And nothing, Yui," he said nervously. "See you soon," he said, saying goodbye to Reiko with a Yui on his back. Reiko, "Imbecile," she said this to also leave. After that strange moment we can see how the green-haired boy with Yui on his back was heading towards the bedrooms. "Ibara, Kodai, Escamilla," she said, reaching them. Yui, "Oh hello," she said this cold. Izuku, "Come on, Yui, don't be like that. Hey, damn it," she said with a smile. "Ibara, you shouldn't say that to girls," she said, giving him a slap. Izuku, "Oh yeah, calm down, idiot," he said, rubbing his head. Yui, "Hey, you should stop talking to girls like that," she said, pulling her hair. Izuku, "You too, asshole," he said without realizing it. "Shit," he said, scared. "What the buck did you do?" he thought. "Hey, let's solve this like adults," he said, looking at Yui. Yui 3. Izuku, "Yui, please don't be like that. You know I say a lot of stupid things," he said, scared. Yui 2. Izuku, "Yui, please no," he said, starting to cry. Yui 1. Izuku, "Come on, let's go. He's going to grab her against the baton," he said as he started running. Izuku at that moment was running as fast as he could while Yui and Ibra were chasing him. For some reason Yui got Ibra to want to catch the green-haired boy too. They followed him throughout the academy until he reached his dormitories. He entered scared, and the first thing he saw was Kendo eating. Izuku, "Lock me in your hands," he said with fear. Kendo, without understanding, just followed the order and then watched as Yui and Ibra entered through the door. Yui, "Where is it?" she said with a cold look. Setsuna, who? she said nervously. Ibara, "Izuku," he said this just like Yui. Kendo, "We don't know." She ran up the stairs, she said in fear. Yui, "What do you have in your hands?" she said as she approached. Kendo, "A Monoma, you know how he is," he said, sweating a little. But everyone was frightened when they saw Monoma coming through the door. Monoma, "Hey, did you see the crazy night that he sees that everyone sees him? What do they see in me?" he said, confused. Izuku, "Asshole," he said, slipping out of Kendo's hands. The green-haired boy tried to run at that moment, but Yui grabbed him by the hair and tackled him to the ground. Yui, how did you tell me? She said with a cold look. Izuku, why you know about my illness, he said, trying to escape. Yui, verbal diarrhea doesn't even exist, she said, annoyed, but then put on a smile. You deserve a punishment, she said, to take the green-haired boy to her room. After a few moments we can see how Yui comes out with a white liquid dripping from her mouth, and the green-haired boy with a lost look, he just curled up in a corner. Izuku, you're a bore, Izuku, he said, rocking. Oh, what did he do to her? They said, scared. After that everyone calmed down, and took the green-haired boy to the couch, where he calmed down. For some reason he forgot what happened with Yui. Izuku, I already told you shit I can't remember, he said angrily. Monoma, come on, try it, he said. Izuku, what the buck, shut up already, he said angrily. No, asshole, you can't go out, he said, looking at his shoulder. Yui, who are you talking to? She said, confused, but before Tetsu arrived in his iron form, Monoma with Tetsu's quirk and a wall of air prevented him from doing so. Monoma, don't come near him, rapist, he said, frightened. Tetsu, we will defend it to the death, he said the same. But everyone saw how Yui put on a cold and gloomy look. This scared the boys, who made them move away. Izuku, what asses, he said, laughing. No way, idiot, he said angrily. Reiko, damn crazy, she said, somewhat annoyed. Izuku, it's my bucking Quirk that wants to come out to meet them, he said, making faces. Oh, that's okay, damn it, he said angrily. At that moment everyone sees how the green-haired boy grows the same wings he had in Heroes Training again. Izuku, wow, he said, surprised. You are my classmates? He said excitedly, while everyone agreed. Wow, there are many, he said, approaching Reiko. You are very pretty, Miss Yanagi, he said with a smile. Reiko, thank you, she said, blushing. Izuku, where is she? He said, looking around. Yui, he said with a big smile as he rushed to hug Yui while caressing her cheek with his own. I missed you so much. He doesn't let me go out very often, but it's nice to see you every time, he said with a smile. The strange thing about the green-haired boy is that this wasn't another person, it was just another personality, but the green-haired boy thinks he's a completely different person than his normal self, which makes him believe that they are two people sharing the same body despite being the same. Yui, I miss you too, Aiza, she said with a smile, caressing her hair. Izuku, well, I think it's time to go. It was nice meeting you guys, he said with a big smile. I love you all, and he loves you too. Treat him well. He's never had friends except for Yui. He doesn't know how to behave with you, but I know he'll do it, he said with a smile. At that moment everyone was surprised because they thought that the green-haired boy was the kind of person who was surrounded by friends. They just nodded with a smile. Izuku, well, goodbye, he said, this so that everyone could see how little by little his wings hid and the green-haired boy returned to his normal attitude. The crazy inventor. It was a new day and our favorite green-haired boy was in front of the 1H dorms with Bakugo and Todoroki, but why? Flashback. Izuku, so your babies are everything to you? He asked while looking at a pink-haired girl. May, that's right, and I would be very flattered if you used one for your show, she said excitedly. Izuku, damn, where do you come from, Konalep? He said, confused. Why do you have so many bucking children? He said in shock. May, oh no, you're confused. My babies are my inventions, she said with a big smile. Izuku, oh yes, so what would you do if someone ruined your baby? He said, confused. May, I'll kill him, she said with a cold look that went through Izuku's balls. Izuku, oh, he said, thinking. End flashback. Bakugo, so with the impulse you will destroy an invention just to see what happens? He said excitedly. Todoroki, and the moment you come down we start running, he said while Izuku nodded. Izuku, yes, today, gentlemen, we will challenge death, he said with a smile. Bakugo, but why? I mean, what reason is there to do this? He said, trying to reflect. Izuku, for the anecdote, he said with a smile. Todoroki, it works for me, he said, shrugging his shoulders while Bakugo nodded. Izuku, okay, we have to hurry. Classes have already started and we here, like idiots, must be wondering why we are not here. If only the support course had vacations, he said mockingly. Todoroki, well then, ready, I'm aiming, he said, this one moving an ice pillar that works as a catapult. Fire, he said, this one, to see how Bakugo with an explosion fell with all his strength, to see how the green-haired boy flew out to the window of a certain pink inventor. Bakugo, Get ready to start running, he said while Todoroki agreed. Izuku, upon entering through the pink-haired girl's window, could see how she was inventing and turned around when he heard a noise, but he was too late. The green-haired boy had collided with his inventions, causing them to explode. The green-haired boy got up with a smile, but May W, what did you do? She said with a look so cold that it froze the green-haired boy. Izuku, oich buck your mother, he said this before starting to run. At the moment that he started running, May, like the devil himself, began to float with her eyes blank with a penetrating look at the green-haired boy. Izuku, what the buck, isn't that zooming? He said scared. As they ran out the door, Bakugo and Todoroki looked at the crazy inventor in horror, so without time to laugh they ran away in terror. The three of them ran through the UA courtyard while being chased by May. Bakugo, it was a bad idea, he said with fear. Todoroki, he's going to kill us, he said with fear. They quickly ran into classroom 1B where they saw Vlad teaching the students. Class B, Escamilla? They said in unison. Vlad, oh devil, you're in serious trouble, he said somewhat annoyed but mockingly. But everyone fell silent as they felt the pressure of the air. Vlad, W, what is that? He said nervously. Everyone watched in shock as the green-haired boy ran his hands over his face until he had a face that was familiar. May quickly entered the room, but all her anger changed to excitement when she saw that face, that heavenly face made by the gods of Olympus, and that is loved by all women, men, dogs, animals in general, the crystal generation, kids, gentlemen, feminazis, feminists, C4 tractors, and the entire planet and the rest. He was Cheyenne. May, Cheyenne, she said excitedly. Sir, please sign my forehead, she said, lifting her hair. Everyone held back the urge to hug Izuku because with that face who wouldn't? But they knew it was him, so they held back. But Todoroki and Bakugo, who saw this, only calmed down when they saw how May's anger passed. Izuku, that's right, baby, I'm Cheyenne, the most handsome man on earth. May, prove it. Izuku, I would leave everything for you to stay, my creed, my past, my religion, this song. May, yes, you are surprised face, she said excitedly. Izuku, yeah baby, now why don't we calm down and have a mathinga, she said, hitting May in the neck, knocking her out. Izuku at that moment changed his face to normal, relaxing everyone but making a few girls blush since the green-haired boy was very beautiful in the eyes of many. Not for nothing he was classified as one of the most beautiful men on earth, only below the powerful Cheyenne. He simply approached Yui. Izuku, hug me, he said, trembling. Yui at that moment was upset by the nickname, but saw how the green-haired boy was shaking, so she just decided to hug him. Vlad, they will tell me right now what happened, he said, looking at the three boys. Izuku, yeah, sure, what happened was, and that's how we rescued Bakugo from some Muslims who thought he was one of them, he said with a big smile. Bakugo, I remember that day as if it were 4 days ago, he said with a smile. Todoroki, asshole, was 4 years ago, he said sarcastically. Bakugo, oh no way, if it's true, good times, said this nostalgic guy. At that moment everyone had a drop of sweat, but just as the bell rang to leave, Todoroki took May to her room, but since he was too lazy to enter he left her lying in the entrance, and left. Now we can see the green-haired boy sweeping the 1B bedrooms. Izuku, holy shit, just me, this guy said, annoyed. Go to hell, you bucking Nizu, go to hell, you bucking broom, this guy said, Tarantula. Tetsu, there is my eye, it was heard in the distance. Izuku, oh buck your mother, turn into metal and don't scream, asshole, he said, annoyed while sitting on the couch. At that moment you see someone approaching the green-haired boy. Ibara, hey, Escamilla, she said nervously. Izuku, oh yeah, what the hell is going on? He said calmly. Ibara, what did I tell you about saying that to girls? She said, giving him a slap. Izuku, oh you stupid girl, sorry, he said, rubbing himself. Ibara, how do I never mind, I need your help, she said, this shy girl. Izuku, it depends on the hell, he said, looking at his nails. Ibara, a boy is harassing me, and well, you are my friend and I wanted to see if. At that moment everyone fell to their knees, feeling the pressure that was being exerted by the green-haired boy. Izuku, nobody touches mine, he said seriously, do you know where it is? He said angrily. Ibara, his name is Nito. At that moment Izuku started walking towards Monoma, scaring him. Monoma, hey dude, no, it's not me, Shiozaki. I know I owe you money, but don't buck with me. It's not for this. I'll pay you back, he said with fear. Izuku, you screwed up, he said this about to hit Monoma. Ibara, his name is Nito Kurowashout, is stopping the blow that they would give to Monoma. Izuku at that moment at an inhuman speed left and returned, but now with a boy in his hands. Izuku, it's the, he said this annoying. Ibara just agreed with a little fear. Izuku, look asshole, he said looking at the boy, if you get close to Ibara again I swear I'll shove this up your ass, it hurts you know, and don't ask how I know, but I'll put that in you and then I'll kill you, then I'll revive you to put it in you again, understood? The boy remained silent. You understood, he said, so that the boy with fear and crying agreed. Now get out, he said, taking the boy and throwing him like a baseball. Ah, he sighed, are you better now, asshole? He said looking at Ibara. Ibara, why yes, she said with a blush adorning her cheeks, ignoring the nickname. Izuku, this is for you idiots, he said pointing to the girls who were offended by the nickname. If someone harasses you or worse touches you, tell me so I can kill him, he said with a psychopathic smile. At that moment the girls just quickly responded with fear but a slight blush because the green-haired boy would defend them. Izuku, oh, but if they touch you I won't kill him, I won't torture him, and I'll kill him, he said starting to laugh. Yui just blushed at this. She was the most important to the green-haired boy. This made her very happy and excited. Izuku, well, he said returning to his normal attitude. They wash it, damn it, he said to start going up. At that moment Yui quickly ran to follow him and be able to sleep with him. All the boys from 1B watched as Izuku left, and the girls blushed. Oh, maybe it's not that bad, they said with a smile, and the girls blushed. A show for everyone. It was a new day at the UA Academy. The students, after so much stress from classes, rested and spent the weekend and came back as new, although they were told that they would have a surprise for the first years, so they will have to go to an auditorium. Those from Class B entered their classroom and were confused not to see Izuku but decided not to ask, but there was one that had an aura of death. Yui, he's probably cheating on me with another girl, she said angrily. Damn Izuku, he doesn't respect our future relationship, she said with a cold aura. Monoma, hey B, but they're not even boyfriend and girlfriend, he said trying to calm Yui down. Yui, but we will be, and he can't be unfaithful to me, she said while her aura increased. But that was interrupted when everyone saw Director Nizu enter. Nizu, well, young people, as we know, the first years are the ones who have had the most problems so far, so to release some stress your classmate Izuku Escamilla volunteered to do a comedy show for you. At that moment everyone got excited. Although they saw Izuku every day, he was different on stage than in person, so they were dying to see him. With excitement they arrived at an auditorium where they saw Class A. Each one sat on their own. Girls from one and boys from the other. They sat down when suddenly the lights went out and the stage light turned on. Izuku, what's up, people, he said as music played from the speakers and the boys began to applaud. Damn, I feel weird, I know you all, and I'm giving a show for you. I feel like when I practiced with my mother, may she rest in peace, he said, taking a glass of alcohol that was there. At that moment everyone felt a little bad for the green-haired boy. They didn't know that his mother had died. Izuku, but meh, it's okay, he said with a smile. I can't say the same about the security of this school, he said discreetly while everyone started to laugh. And well, I would like to tell you the time I set a pool on fire, he said with a smile. Well, it turns out that I was at a party with a friend, and in our idiots we started to drink. This friend of mine has the quirk to generate explosions, I call him the Muslim. He said this so that everyone would start laughing except for Bakugo, and two idiots said, if we pour gasoline in the pool and launch an explosion, will the water set on fire? He said this so that everyone would laugh. Yes, my brother's a drunk is an idiot. But we are bucking sober idiots. Imagine drunk of what happened. He said this while everyone continued to laugh. Well, what happened was this: the birthday boy's mom told us, you can get into the pool, are you following me? She said to the audience while everyone agreed. Okay, I secretly started pouring gasoline into the pool without saying anything, thinking that nothing would happen and that everyone would be okay. The moment I finished I gave the signal to Bakugo. Enough. What happened was the pool caught fire. Okay? He said this while everyone was laughing. Bakugo and I took pictures of him while we were laughing. This was very obvious to our partner's mom, and she knew it was us. Old lady, if you're looking at me, I am not doing anything to you just because you're so hot, motherbucker. He said this while everyone was laughing except one, and well, that's what happened. Now I'll tell you how we saved Bakugo from some Muslims who wanted to take him away. He said this while everyone started laughing again. What happened is that with a friend, who by the way I left sterile. He said this laughing like Bakugo, but Todoroki only had a serious and annoyed look. Don't get mad, damn it. He said this looking at Shoto, but well, it turns out that there are Squint, the three idiots, and Bakugo came up with an idea. Hey, what if we dress up as what we want to be when we grow up? Yes. Very childish in the blowjob, but we had nothing to do, so everyone went out dressed in what they wanted to grow up. Shoto came out in a sailor suit. I say he wants to be a Playboy bunny cosplayer. He said this so everyone would laugh. I came out naked. This one just went at them. At that moment everyone understood. Some girls blushed. Yui got upset, and the boys laughed. And then this idiot who comes up with the idea of going out with a Surya. Those who don't know what that is are the mascots that the Arabs use that covers their entire body. He said this one so that everyone would start laughing, and it turns out that some Arabs were passing by in a helicopter right at that precise moment, and we got confused when we saw a ladder come down, but we reacted late when they took the idiot with them. Everyone starts laughing at that moment. I had no choice but to follow them with my wings. Yeah, there they see me naked flying behind a helicopter full of Arabs drinking tea with weapons at their sides. Bakugo jumped out of the helicopter as he could, but I couldn't catch him, so he crashed into the ground and he was left, hitched but ugly with an F for asshole. You bastard, we took him, we cured him, and now he's as good as new. He said this one while everyone laughed. And so the green-haired show continued. Izuku, and then as a last point I want to sing you a song. It was an infidelity on my part. I know, gentlemen, I feel very bad. Because not even the girl I like knows this. At that moment Yui was taking out lightning bolts about to hit the first thing that came in front of her. Yui, I must be the girl he likes, she said seriously, but who is that hitched to pay him a visit, she said with a grim smile. At that point, everyone watched with a bit of shock as the green-haired boy began to play the guitar in a very good way and began to sing. Izuku, it was a quiet night. I walked without wandering. I found that person. I saw her, and knew she is special. I have started playing in a very lively way. Izuku, I invited her for some drinks to start with. We started drinking and then chatting. She was a person with a very protective character. I liked her, so I took her to my room. It was a night where we did it without consent, or shame, I repeat. Even the next day my head hurt. She was a person with a very gifted body. This one starts to arpeggiate faster and suddenly stops. Izuku, I met him at UA and his name was Bakugo. He shouted while everyone started laughing, and he finished singing, my name is Izuku Escamilla, thank you very much, I love you, bye. He said to leave the stage while everyone applauded, but he tripped. That's how I walk. Idiots. He said this so everyone would laugh even more. After that the auditorium turned on the lights where everyone started to applaud for the green-haired man's show. He came out alone again and bowed, so with a smile he got off the stage and went to where his companions were. Setsuna, that was very good, my stomach still hurts, she said, still laughing. Izuku, well, coming from you I'm glad that the show was for you, he said with a big smile. He said, yawning, I'm sleepy. Yui, he said, just to see Yui running towards him. Yui, what's wrong? She said, looking at Izuku. Izuku, I'm going to go to sleep, he said, warning him. Yui, let's go, she said with a slight smile. Izuku, because I warned you, if I knew you would tell me that. Well, let's go, he said this so that Yui could get on his back. Okay, he said this to start walking with Yui on his back under the jealous gaze of two people. Kendo, are you sure you want to try it? He said, looking at his partner. Ibara, yes, I'll ask her on a date, she said with a blush, watching Izuku leave. Do you want to go out with me? It was a quiet morning at the UA. Izuku, good morning, Yui, he said, carrying her hair as she was attached to his chest. Yui just blushed as she felt the tantrum of the boy she likes. Yui, what's wrong, Izuku? She said, confused. Izuku, nothing, it's just that I like that you're always there for me, he said, giving her a kiss on the forehead. Yui, and you know I will always be, she said, getting closer to his chest. Today I confess my love to her, she thought. She was determined. Izuku, thank you, he said while continuing to caress her hair. After a moment the two decided to stand up to change. Izuku changed in front of Yui, and Yui in front of Izuku. The latter would never look at Yui with perverted eyes. And even so they were already used to it, since they even bathed together when they were little. After finishing changing they went downstairs where everyone saw how the boys were eating. some girls blushed when they saw Izuku, which was the case of Ibara and a slight blush in Reiko. Izuku, since they are all so bucking awesome, they won't wait for us, assholes, he said, pretending to be sad. Reiko, in fact, he said, pointing to 2 plates of food already prepared for him and Yui. Izuku, oh, I take back what I said, damn, I love you, he said as he sat down to eat. Setsuna, hey, I didn't know you played the guitar so well, how did you learn? She said, surprised, while everyone agreed. Izuku, oh, I just wanted to implement it in the show, and that's all, dude. I watched some videos of Guitarra Viva and Buckyu, he said, while everyone had a drop of sweat. Kendo, that really impressed me, he said, laughing a little. Tetsu, but I only have one question, how can you come up with so many good anecdotes? He said, surprised. Izuku at that moment just started laughing. Izuku, that's the problem, they're all real, he said, laughing. Monoma, when did you jump out of a plane without a parachute? Izuku, really? Reiko, when they kidnapped you to give a show to the mafia? Izuku, that happened 3 years ago, he said, laughing. Ibara, when the Christians praised you thinking you were a redeeming angel because you were using your quirk? Izuku, yes, it happened 4 weeks ago, he said, laughing. Kinoko, wow, she said, impressed, how is it possible that so much happens to you? She said, laughing a little. Izuku, well, it happens, dude, he said, laughing. Ibara, come on, Ibara, it's your chance, she said, blushing. Midoriya, she is interrupted by the door. Everyone was shocked to see the 2 strongest in Class A. Todoroki, asshole, he said, entering with Bakugo. Bakugo, we have a great idea for today, he said with a big smile. Izuku, all ears, asshole, he said excitedly. Todoroki, well, as we know, you can turn into anyone, right? He said. Izuku, what are you eating, you bastard? He said, laughing. Bakugo, well, could you pretend to be an adult and buy beers? He said excitedly. Izuku, I don't know, it's illegal, and I. Todoroki, I'll give you 10 yen, he said, taking out a bill. Izuku, damn, where do I sign? He said, taking the bill. This made everyone sweat a drop. Kendo, hey, don't you think they're a little young to they're already gone, he said, watching the 3 of them leave. Yui, why didn't you stop him? He said, looking at Yui. Yui, sorry, but I like to take care of him when he's drunk. He's very sweet, she said with a smile and hearts in her eyes. Ibara, well, I think it will be tomorrow. She thinks she is a bit sad but determined to ask the green-haired boy out on a date. With Izuku. We can see Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki outside a store. Izuku, well, putting on Aizawa's face, wish me luck, he said, entering the store. Cashier, hey Shota, so soon? Did you already run out of the one I gave you yesterday? He said, confused. Izuku, yesterday? He said, also confused. Cashier, oh yeah, I forgot that it even erases your memory, he said, laughing. Well, I got it more today and more powerful. What do you want? He said with a smile. Izuku, some beers, he said somewhat nervously. Cashier, what is your grandmother coming today? He said, laughing. Izuku, yes, he said, giving him money. Cashier, oh okay, here, he said, giving him 2 cartons, but when you want more merchandise, you know I have the best, he said, winning at him. Izuku, okay, he said as he left. Todoroki, what happened, what happened? He said, looking at Izuku. Izuku, let's go, assholes, it's better to run here than to die here, he said as he left with Bakugo and Todoroki. After that they arrived at the academy and went to a forest hidden from the cameras to start drinking. Izuku, did you know that Aizawa is a parakeet? He said, laughing. Bakugo, no, since you are so smart, asshole, not even in 10 bucking years would we know, this sarcastic guy said. Todoroki, that guy must have more dust than air in his nose, he said, while everyone laughed. After that the boys finished the 2 cartons of 20 beers each. They were drunk as hell. Each one went to their respective dorm complex. Now we can see the green-haired boy entering his dorm. Staggering due to the alcohol, he approached Yui slowly under the gaze of all his classmates. Yui was excited. She knew what was coming next, but she didn't expect Ibara to get in the middle. Ibara, Izuku, you're back. I just had to tell you something. I wanted to know if, but she fell silent and blushed massively when she felt the green-haired boy's lips kissing her. Izuku, You know our raspberry, this drunk said. Yui, who saw this from afar, watched with great jealousy as Ibra got in the way of what was supposed to be for her. Yui, I think I'll pay him a visit later, she said with a grim smile. Ibra, Izuku, what how this did not continue as Izuku kissed her again. Izuku, you are very delicious, he said, taking out his wings and wrapping them around Ibra. At that moment Ibra blushed deeply when she felt the green-haired boy's wings. They were extremely soft. Setsuna, what's happening to him? She said, confused and jealous. Yui, when Izuku gets drunk he mistakes the first girl he sees for his partner, she said with a very noticeable anger when she saw how Ibra took what was supposed to be hers. Ibra, PP, do you think I'm your girlfriend? She said, blushing. Ibra just started to reciprocate Izuku's kisses with a big blush, but with joy some girls jealous of this made a plan, one that seemed very simple. Kendo, a little jealous, went with the green-haired boy and hit him in the neck that left him unconscious. This bothered Ibra, but she knew how to hide it very well. Kendo, Yui, can you take him to his room? She said while Yui nodded and put an unconscious Izuku on her shoulder to start helping him get to his bedroom. Yui took Izuku to her room where she entered with him. Yui was not stupid. She would take the opportunity to have the green-haired boy asleep, and then if he woke up he would be drunk. She gently put him on the bed and placed some sheets on him. He got under the sheets where he began to caress the green-haired boy's penis. Yui, it's even bigger than last time, she said, surprised. At that moment Yui lowered Izuku's zipper and took out his penis. He let himself be hit by the green-haired man's penis in his face that had risen due to the caresses. When he felt the piece of meat on his face, he crossed his eyes to see it better and began to lick it. Yui, enjoy, she said as she began licking the green-haired boy's penis. After 40 minutes. After a while Yui could barely handle all the hum that fell in her mouth. She gently removed herself from the green-haired boy and went to clean up. After that she came back only to lie on the green-haired boy's chest. Yui, good night, love, she said as she fell asleep on the green-haired boy's chest. The next day, we can see how all the students of Class 1B were eating. Tetsu, what's wrong, bro? He said, looking at Izuku. Izuku, I don't know, damn it, but I feel very relaxed, he said, laughing while Yui blushed but put on a slight smile. Ibra was just blushing, but she knew she had to take advantage of it. She couldn't waste this perfect day. Ibra, Izuku, she said. She is looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh yeah, what's up, dude? Ibra, he said, smiling nervously. Ibra, I wanted to tell you if I wanted to know if. Come on, tell him. Did you want to go out with me? She said, bowing, blushing. Izuku, huh? Oh, what? They said, impressed. The appointment. Everyone was watching attentively. Did they hear correctly? The religious one of the group, the calmest one, Ibra, just asked Izuku out on a date. Izuku, huh? He said, confused. Yui, what? This jealous woman said. Ibra, I want you to go out with me, she said, bowing, blushing. Izuku, seeing Ibra's nervousness, went to the only person he could ask for advice on this type of thing. Izuku, what do I say? He said, somewhat blushing. Yui, do you want to go out with her? She said, somewhat jealous. Izuku, well, yes, he said, watching as Ibra assures her in her bow. Seeing Ibra so nervous, Yui could see herself at 10 years old with the green-haired boy. She only gave a slight smile. Why fight over the green-haired boy if there was enough for both of them? Yui, well, accepted, she said with a smile. Izuku just agreed. Izuku, well, look, Ibra, I'm an idiot, but if you really want to go out with this crazy son of a hitch, then let's go, he said with a big smile that made her blush a little. Ibra, why yes, I'll go change soon, she said with a blush before running to her room. At that moment Kendo just approached Yui. Kendo, are you really going to let me go out with him? He said, watching as Yui nodded. Yui, she reminded me of me. She really likes Izuku, so why not share it? What's the worst that could happen? She said with a slight smile. Kendo, well, I think you'll have to share it with someone else besides her, he said, looking at the black-haired girl. Yui who? She said, somewhat surprised and jealous. Kendo at that moment just pointed at a certain girl who was watching the scene with a little jealousy. Yui, I see, when Ibra and Izuku leave I'll talk to her, and then I'll talk to Ibra, she said while Kendo agreed. Kendo, why, PP, well, PP, could I see come in? She said, blushing. Yui, what? She said, surprised. Kendo, it's that I also like him, she said, blushing, looking at the floor. Yui, since 4 is an even number, she said seriously, but not a word to anyone, she said. She is watching Kendo. Kendo, oh, nobody, he said, making a face as if he were closing his mouth with a zipper. Then, after a while, everyone saw Ibra coming down wearing a dress that covered her a little below her ankles and some casual sneakers. Ibra, we're leaving? She said, blushing a little. Izuku, yes, let's go, he said. This one also a little blushed when he saw Ibra. After that they left the bedroom straight to their appointment. Ibra, where will we go, she said, blushing. Izuku, wherever you want to go, he said with a smile that made her blush. Ibra, we could go to the cinema, she said, blushing. Izuku, well, what the hell are we waiting for? He said, taking Ibra's hand, making it very red. This path hand in hand with Ibra, but did not expect that a group of paparazzi was following them. They were about to enter the cinema, but were intercepted. Izuku, what the buck? He said, somewhat scared, while Ibra hid behind him. Cameraman 1, Mr. Escamilla, an interview, she said, bringing the microphone very close to his face. Izuku, hey asshole, that's not a blowjob, he said, moving the microphone a little away. Izuku began to notice how Ibra was nervous and began to tremble a little. Izuku, look at your assholes, go buck yourself, you're driving me crazy. I just want to go out with her normally. So stop messing with me and go buck yourself where you came from, said this annoying guy. Cameraman 2, Mr. Escamilla, more respect, you know what your critics can say. Izuku, I don't give a damn about criticism, I'm a comedian, dude, I'm not a bucking actor to live off that bullshit, he said, moving the camera away and taking Ibra's hand to start running. After running for a while, they lost the press, but unfortunately they missed the movie. Izuku, I'm sorry that this happened because of me, he said, somewhat sad for ruining the date. Ibra, you know I think I had a lot of fun, she said, laughing a little. Izuku, really? I tried really hard to make this date a good one because I saw how much it cost you to ask me out, and I don't even know why if I'm just another idiot, and because I forgot that I'm a bucking famous comedian, because I finally got to have friends. I ruined this date that I was also excited to have, and that's why now he couldn't finish this one because he was silenced by a kiss on the cheek from Ibra. Ibra, you know this is the best date I've ever had and the first one, she said, laughing a little, and although I didn't plan on running away from the press, it was entertaining, she said, laughing, but well, it got dark, I think it's better to go back, she said with a smile as she took Izuku's hand to leave. Izuku, this doesn't end here, he said, stopping Ibra. Ibra, what are you? But she fell silent and blushed massively when she felt herself being carried by the green-haired boy, but she spread her wings and under the starry sky she began to fly. Ibra had little stars in her eyes, and with a blush she saw the night lights. She blushed, and only looked up and blushed when she saw the beautiful face of our green-haired boy with a smile. She only saw him with a smile. Ibra, I think I like it, she said in a whisper with a smile. Izuku, did Miss Shiozaki say something? Said the polite version of Izuku. Ibra, nothing, Izuku, nothing, she thought, blushing and smiling as she watched the night lights. A quiet day. Right now we can see how the green-haired boy woke up peacefully in his room after his date with Ibra yesterday. They went to eat, and for some reason that he doesn't understand, she gave him a kiss on the cheek and ran away blushing, an old wives' tale as he says. So this sleepyhead tried to wake up but felt a weight on him. Izuku, good morning, Yui, he said calmly. Yui, good morning, Izuku, she said, sinking into his chest. How did it go yesterday? She commented with a slight touch of jealousy. Izuku, well, very well, he said with a slight smile, making Yui turn her head with a pout. Come on, don't be like that, he said, caressing her hair. You know I love you very much, he said, giving her a kiss on the forehead. Yui, Izuku, I love you, she said, hugging the green-haired boy possessively. Izuku, and me too, Yui, he said, slightly blushing. Yui, but I'm not the only one, she said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh, what are you? Yui, I mean, Ibra is also in love with you, she said, blushing the green-haired boy. Izuku, wait also? He said, blushing. Yui, yes, I like you, Izuku. Since we were little, please be mine and Ibara's boyfriend, she said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, why yes, why not? He said, a little blushing but trying to lighten the situation. Yui, good, she said, smiling. I'll talk to her. Go up to the roof at night, we'll wait for you there, she said, while the green-haired boy agreed for now, she said, giving the green-haired boy a kiss on the lips which he reciprocated. Let's sleep a little longer, she said, calmly lying on the green-haired boy's chest while he caressed her hair. After sleeping a little longer, the green-haired boy was the first to wake up and saw how Yui was still asleep with a smile. Izuku, who would have imagined that you also loved me like I loved you, he thought with a smile. What he didn't know was that Yui was awake but intended to be asleep to scare the green-haired boy, but what she heard made her blush. Izuku, so what can we do today? He said, confused. Yui, pretending to wake up, and if we stay here without doing anything, she said, hugging the green-haired boy. Izuku, if you want, he said, sinking into Yui's breasts. Yui, do you like them? She said with a slight smile and a blush. Izuku, they are very comfortable, he said with a smile. Then Yui, without expecting it, took off her blouse and bra, revealing her naked breasts. Yui, well, sleep, she said, extending her arms, signaling the green-haired boy to hug her. The green-haired boy, neither slow nor lazy, got between Yui's breasts while she hugged him and caressed his head. Izuku, I would like to stay like this forever, he said while touching Yui's butt. Yui, pervert, she said with light laughter. Izuku, I'm sorry, but you're just so beautiful, he said, hugging Yui even more. Yui, I'm your girlfriend, right? You can touch whatever you want, she said, smiling and blushing slightly, although Ibra will be too, but I don't know if she'll let you do the same, she said, laughing. Izuku, let's wait, he said, this one also laughing. After that moment they fell asleep again, Yui with a smile, knowing that she is finally going to be with the green-haired boy. She doesn't mind sharing him. They then woke up again, and now they decided to go take a bath. They changed and went down to have breakfast. When they went down they only found Ibra, who had also woken up at that time, so the green-haired boy and Yui went down and sat next to her, making Ibra blush because of the green-haired boy's closeness. Izuku, good morning, Ibra, he said calmly. Ibra, BB, good morning, Izuku, Yui said. She is looking at the brunette. Yui, Izuku, can you go out for a moment? I want to talk to Ibra, she said, so that the green-haired boy would nod and leave. Well, now that we are alone, why do you like Izuku? She said, blushing at the green-haired girl. Ibra, what? I don't know, like, she said with a big blush. Yui, well, if you say so. I was going to share it with you if you didn't want to. Ibra, yes, I like it, she screamed, blushing. Yui, I knew it, she said with a smile. Then tell me, are you willing to share it with me? She said calmly. Ibra, yes, anything to be with him, she said, blushing. Yui, then we have to set some rules, she said, while Ibra agreed. First, and most important, never be unfaithful, she said seriously, while Ibra agreed confidently. Second, you must make it clear once and for all if you give him permission to touch your body, she said, making Ibra blush. Ibra, and no, wouldn't bother me, she said, blushing. Yui, I'll take that as a yes. And lastly, if a girl wants to join, she must go through our review first, understood? She said while extending her hand. Ibra, understood, she said, holding her close. Yui, fine, then we'll tell him on the rooftop at night, she said, while Ibra agreed. Well, Izuku, you can come in now, she shouted, but no one came in. I guess he went to do something, she said, smiling. So shall we eat? She said to earn a nod from Ibra. With Izuku. Izuku, I already told you assholes I don't want to die, he said nervously. Bakugo, come on, nerd, you just have to ask her to create a party, and when she asks you why, you tell her so you can party like crazy, he said, laughing. Todoroki, do it or you'll buck up, he said, challenging the green-haired boy. Izuku, I don't buck with any bullshit, let's do it, he said seriously as he headed to the 1A dorms with Bakugo and Todoroki. So when they arrived they saw how the entire classroom was eating. They were a little surprised to see Izuku Escamilla in their bedrooms, but then they remembered that he was from 1B and it passed. They greeted Izuku, but he only got close to Todoroki and Bakugo's ears. Izuku, get ready to run at any moment, he said seriously. Then Bakugo and Todoroki nodded while the latter took out a camera. Then the green-haired boy nervously approached Momo, who was eating. Izuku, Lady Yayorozu, he said this seriously. Momo, What do you want? Don't think I'll forgive you for that time, she said angrily. Izuku, oh, so he can create a rumba? He said while Todoroki and Bakugo were about to laugh. Momo, why do you want a party? She said confused. Izuku, so you can party bucking stupid chick, he said this just so Todoroki and Bakugo started laughing like crazy. But they remained silent when they saw how Momo created an AK-47. Izuku, Buck, your mother said this scared guy better run here than die here, let's go damn it, he said this guy as he ran followed by Bakugo and Todoroki. Then Momo started shooting at them and they dodged the bullets, although the green-haired boy screamed in pain when a bullet hit him in the left buttock, but he was carried by Todoroki and Bakugo began to carry him to take him away faster. Izuku, ah buckers, I see darkness, the darkness scares the shit out of me, he said. Scared Buck your mother, you stupid girl, he said, making Momo even angry. Momo, you screwed up, he said. He is reloading again. After that we can see how the green-haired boy was in the infirmary with Recovery Girl with a bullet in his butt while Todoroki and Bakugo were all beaten up. Recovery, what do you think, young man, she said seriously. Izuku, will I be left without an ass? He said, downplaying it. Recovery, no, I lost the will to live. Izuku, well, as if to say, let's see if the situation is okay, he said. Recovery, okay. I want to know the motive, the reason, the circumstance, of why you did such a stupid human thing. Don't you think? Are you stupid? Can't you have a quiet day because you always want to do something that harms others and you just for your own fun, she said, annoyed. Izuku, for the anecdote, he said with a big smile. Wait, what time is it? He said, scared. Bakugo, 8 p.m., he said, confused. Izuku, shit, there you see, he said to activate his wings and break a wall in the process. Recovery, what a hick, she said, already disappointed. Then Izuku flew at full speed to the balcony of Building 1B where he saw Yui and Ibra already waiting for him. When they saw him come down they blushed since he was practically an angel coming down from heaven. Izuku, sorry girls, I got late with some work, but I'm here now, he said with a smile. Ibra, well, Izuku, we, she said blushing. Yui, we want to be your girlfriends, we want to share you, we want you to be our boyfriend and give us both the same affection, she said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh okay, he said smiling. Ibra, did you really make it that easy? She said blushing. Izuku, I don't have much to think about, I want both of you, and yes, I want to be with you too, he said, giving a kiss to Ibra and Yui. Yui, wow, today was a very beautiful day and peaceful, she said with a smile, leaning on the green-haired boy's right shoulder as did Ibra on the left. Izuku, yes, calm down, he said with a nervous smile. Ibra, so are we going to sleep? She said calmly so that the two of them agreed. Then Izuku spread a single wing with which he carried Ibra and carried Yui like a princess, making them both blush. Izuku, let's go to sleep, he said smiling. For the anecdote. We can see how the green-haired boy was carrying Ibra and Yui as a princess and Ibra with her wing. Yui just hid in the green-haired boy's chest and Ibra just snuggled up in his wing. Izuku, let's go to sleep, he said calmly. Ibra, together? She said blushing. Izuku, yes, together, he said with a big smile. Lemon skipped. Izuku, wow, that was intense, so now you are my girlfriends, we became boyfriends today. And we already had hex, he said looking at the two girls, and he gives them a spanking making each one moan nah. For the anecdote, he said with a smile. My last monocle. The green-haired boy was waking up in his room, but now he felt an extra weight than he usually feels. He just smiled when he saw how Ibra was asleep on top of him as well as Yui. He just started to caress the hair of the two girls. They woke up when they felt the green-haired boy's touch. Yui, good morning Izuku, they said smiling. Ibra, good morning Izuku, she said while clinging to his arm. Izuku, hey, how did you sleep, he said calmly. Ibra, gee, after what happened yesterday, very well, she said blushing at first but then with a silly smile. Yui, you were very abrupt, I liked it, she said hiding in the green-haired boy's chest. Izuku, I'm sorry but I can't control myself when I have such beauties in front of me, he said giving them both a kiss. Ibra, we love you, she said blushing. Izuku, me too, he said smiling. Now, shall we go down to eat? He said to earn a nod from the two girls. Then the three of them changed and proceeded to go down. They didn't see anyone. Everyone was still asleep. Then Izuku started cooking for the three of them while Yui and Ibara sat down the ladder finishing the dishes. The three of them ate together while they talked and laughed, the three of them. Izuku uploaded a monologue that he had prepared for YouTube with the title, My Last Monologue. And yes, Izuku would stop being a comedian. He even told director Niza that he would be an official student. He would no longer be there just to have anecdotes to tell, since he had made good friends and had met others again, and he met her. Izuku with a smile only saw Ibara and Yui. Yui, what's wrong, Izuku? She said, confused. Ibara, why are you smiling? He said calmly. Izuku, girls, I love you, he said with a big smile. The green-haired boy had a family at UA. He had 2 girlfriends, and although it was a bit strange, it was something he could get used to. My last monologue of the month. Izuku, tell him, Ibara. Ibara, no way, did you believe it? She said while reading a paper. Izuku, no honey, love must be more natural, more energetic. Ibara, why yes, she said, blushing at the nickname. Izuku, tell me, Ibara. Ibara, don't buck you, did you believe it? She shouted with emotion. Izuku, so come on, you deserve a reward, he said, giving her a kiss. Yui, and why do they say all that? She said, confused. Izuku, I fooled my followers by telling them that I would leave comedy and that it was my last monologue because I wanted to be a full-time student at this academy. And yes, I will be, but it will be my last monologue of the month. The director authorized me to continue going out to do my shows, he said, laughing. Ibara, hey, don't you think you went too far with your followers? Many could even stop following you, she said, pulling his ear. Izuku, nah, I don't think so, they know what I'm like, he said, laughing. Yui, well, so what are we going to do today? She said this but couldn't finish because 2 people came through the door. Bakugo, stupid, how are you going to stop doing comedy? This sad guy said. Izuku, oh no, asshole, it's just a joke in bad taste, he said, laughing. Then everyone sees how Todoroki punches him in the arm. Izuku, and why is that, you idiot? This annoying guy said. Todoroki, for going too far, he said, also annoying. Yui, we told you they wouldn't take it so well, she said, reminding the green-haired boy. Izuku, yes, I know, he said, laughing. So what are we going to do today? He said, shrugging his shoulders. Bakugo, what? He said, smiling. Izuku/Todoroki, Halo, they said, smiling. Izuku just looked at the girls for a moment, and they nodded calmly. Izuku, yes, I love you, he said while kissing them. I'll be back later, he said as he ran away with the other 2. Ibara, why did we let him go? He said, looking at the green-haired boy. Yui, she needs to relax, remember that she has to do a show for the whole school in 2 days, she said, this making Ibara remember. Ibara, but when he comes back, one of the 2 has to be the first to cross paths with him, she said with a tender look. Yui, if we don't kill him, she said with the same smile and an aura of death behind them. With Izuku. This one was on a park bench with Bakugo and Todoroki while they were drinking. Todoroki, so ready for the hate? He said, laughing. Izuku, I don't think so, it was nervous, just a harmless joke, he said. Bakugo, harmless? Idiot, you made all your followers sad. I recommend you upload your video saying it's a lie as soon as possible, he said seriously. Izuku, yes, I'm already uploading it, but it will take a while, he said, taking a sip of his beer. Todoroki, well, cheers to your retirement from lying, you bucking idiot, he said, raising his beer. Izuku/Bakugo, cheers, they said, clapping their hands. Time skip 5 hours. We can see how the green-haired boy walked supported by Bakugo and Todoroki. The 3 of them were drunk, but as they could they left the green-haired boy lying at the entrance of the bedrooms, and they left, but they were also left lying at the entrance of theirs. Ibara, where will Izuku be? He's already taken too long, don't you think? She said worriedly. Yui, let's wait for him another hour, and if he doesn't come we'll have to go out and look for him. She said this so that Ibara would nod, but then they saw a gray-haired girl approaching them. Reiko, hey, Midoriya? She said calmly. Ibara, what are you looking for him for? She said with a tender smile and an aura of death behind her that Reiko did not notice. Reiko, I want to ask her out. Why? she said, downplaying it. Then Yui and Ibra, with a vein on their foreheads, just looked at each other and nodded. Ibra, we have to talk to you, she said calmly, taking her by the arm. Reiko, why? She said, a little nervous. Yui, for something, she said, taking her by the other arm, taking her to a room. Reiko, eh? She said with a blank look as she saw the door in front of her being closed. Time skip 1 hour. We can see how Ibra, Yui, and Reiko left the room. Yui, did you understand the terms? She said, smiling. Reiko, why yes, thank you for trusting me to join you, she said nervously. Ibra, okay, but for now we have to go out and look for him because he didn't come, he must be on a park bench. You know how he is. Tomorrow we'll talk to him to see what he thinks. Okay, she said while Reiko agreed. Yui, okay, let's go, she said. Tetsu, be careful, he said worriedly. Monoma, this time the street is very dangerous, she said the same. Ibra, yes, don't worry, she said, opening the door. Even so, we already know where it can be. He fell silent when he saw the green-haired boy on the floor with his clothes half torn and a bottle in his hand. Stay, she said, sighing heavily. Reiko, could you? She said so that Reiko would nod. Then Reiko, using her quirk, started to float the green-haired boy. Yui, let's take him to the tub with a little cold water, he'll get over it, she said, so that the two of them agreed. Good night, we'll go to sleep now, she said calmly. Monoma, but it's only 6 o'clock. Ibra, we will go to sleep now, she said, smiling. Monoma, as you wish, he said with fear. And so, the girls took the green-haired boy to bathe him with some cold water, but there was one girl, Reiko, who was nervous about what the green-haired boy might answer. Will he accept her? Will he reject her? She doesn't know. Only tomorrow will the answer to that great mystery be known. The hangover. We can see how the green-haired boy was waking up next to Ibra and Yui. At the moment of this awakening, he also woke up Yui and Ibra. Izuku, China, there was a failure in the Matrix. I don't remember getting here yesterday, he said, surprised. Yui, don't you remember? She said, surprised. Ibra, what do you remember from yesterday? He said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, I drank my second beer, that's all I remember, he said, confused, but he began to feel a very strong pain with nausea and his body did not respond. Then he grabbed the girl's arms tightly. Ibra, Izuku, what's wrong? She said, confused and worried. Izuku, take me to the hospital, he said while looking at the ceiling. Yui, guys, come quickly, she scared said. At that point, the entire classroom 1B went up. They arrived worried and became more worried when they saw the green-haired boy. Reiko, what happened to him? She said, worried. Izuku, take me to the hospital and I have a show tomorrow, he said, worrying everyone. Tetsu, why, what do you have? He said, taking out his cell phone. I'll look into what you have. What hurts you? He said, worried. Izuku, everything there is not a nail that doesn't hurt, bro. I'm cold but I'm sweating from the face. My black thermostat is screwed, he said with fear. Oh my god, I'm not getting out of this. I leave Ibra and Yui to you, he said. Scaring the girls more. This is not good. It's cancer at least, he said with fear. Everything hurts. I hear your amplified voice and I don't know why. I really want to cry, he said, scaring the girls, but the men already had an idea of what it was. I mean, I'm not sad, but I could cry. This scared the girls, but they got upset when they saw how all the boys started laughing. Yui, what are you laughing at? She said angrily. Reiko, can't you see that he's dying? She said, also upset. Tetsu, there's nothing wrong with it, he said, laughing. Izuku, I feel really bad, dude. What the buck is that, he said, also annoying. Monoma, brother, you have a hangover, he said, laughing. Is this your first time getting a hangover? He said, confused. Izuku, it's the last one, brother, he said, looking at the ceiling. Ibra, so it's nothing serious? She said, feeling relieved. Tetsu, no, it's nothing serious, it's just that it comes from drinking more than you can handle, he said, laughing. Let's see. To get over the hangover you have to drink again, he said, while everyone agreed and the girls became confused. Izuku, what kind of stupid priest is that? He said, thinking that they were playing a joke on him. Aways. Tetsu is right, old man. The cure for a hangover is to drink again, obviously not like you drank the night before. How many did you drink? 7, 8? He said, confused. Izuku, more or less, brother. After the 6th I stopped counting, he said with a nervous smile. Monoma. Then just take two, he said, making the green-haired boy feel worse. Then the green-haired boy, with his gaze already downcast, had to tell them the truth. Izuku. I only had 2 chili and eggs, he said, lowering his head. Tetsu Monoma. Are you serious? They said, laughing their heads off. Ibara. Don't continue, you make the baby cry, she said, hugging the green-haired boy and giving him a kiss. Aways, so I don't know? Take 2 teaspoons or something like that, he said, laughing. Izuku. Shit, he said, covering his eyes with his arm. I feel like shit, damn Bakugo, damn Todoroki, he said, somewhat annoyed. Ibara. And what do they have to do with it? She said, confused. Izuku. Don't you remember that they invited me to drink? He said, causing 3 girls to have an aura of pain. Yui, Ibara, Reiko. Oh, so yes, they said while getting up. Izuku. Where are they going? He said, confused. Yui. To pay them a little visit, she said with a sweet look but with something dark behind it. A verbal, physical and mental beating later. We can see how Todoroki and Bakugo, all beaten up, arrived at the green-haired boy's room. Bakugo. Hey, what's wrong? He said, scared to see the 3 girls behind them. Monoma. He drank 2 beers and he has a hangover, he said, trying to hold back his laughter. Todoroki. Seriously, 2 beers, you bucking bastard? He said mockingly. Izuku. I'm sorry you're not trained, he said sarcastically. Bakugo. And what did you do in high school? He said, confused. Izuku. Study, you are of a hitch, study, he said, emphasizing it. Todoroki. So tomato, I don't know, a small glass or 2 teaspoons, he said, laughing. Izuku. Is that really the cure? He said while everyone agreed. Yui. Oh no, you won't take him away again, we'll cure him with chicken soup and then we'll look for something else, you've already damaged him enough, she said, playing with the green-haired boy's cheeks. Izuku. I would kiss you right now but I can't move my eyes without getting dizzy, he said without taking his gaze off the ceiling. Yui. Okay, I'll go make the soup with Ibara, everyone leave the room, Reiko, can you stay and take care of him? She said, winking at her while Reiko acknowledged. Then everyone left the room and only Reiko and Izuku were left. She began to caress the green-haired boy's hair. Reiko. Hey Izuku, she said, blushing. Izuku. Oh, what's wrong? He said, he's trying to sleep. Reiko. You will only if you want, you know. Izuku. I'll be honest with you, you have to ask Yui and Ibara for permission. Reiko. I already did it, and they said yes, she said, blushing. Izuku. So wait for all this to happen to me and I'll take you for a ride, okay? He said, closing his eyes while Reiko nodded with a blush. And so it was Reiko raised the green-haired boy's head between her thighs so he could sleep better, and so it was he fell asleep with a smile which made Reiko blush even more. Reiko. I confirm that I like you, Izuku, she said, blushing. A show for everyone. PT.2 End of Season 1. We can see how the green-haired boy woke up in heaven since the sensation given was unimaginable. When he opened his eyes he saw how he was on some legs, on some thighs, a little pale but very soft. Izuku, China God? He said, confused. Reiko just laughed a little at the green-haired boy's comment. Reiko. No, Izuku, it's me, did you like sleeping there? She said, blushing. Izuku. Look, I'll tell you no so you don't take me as a pervert, but I loved it, she said, settling herself on her legs. Reiko. I am glad to hear that, she said, blushing. As so about the date? She said, blushing. Izuku. Yes, don't worry, I'll do the show and then we'll go wherever you want, and don't worry, I'll pay for everything, he said, smiling and blushing at Reiko. Reiko. Why yes, she said, blushing. Izuku. Well, there are 3 hours left for the show, are you going to see me? He said while looking at Reiko. Reiko. Why yes, we couldn't reject 3 ACT in the first F row, she said, laughing a little with a blush. Izuku. No way, how I love you, Hitches, he said with a smile. Reiko. Does he love us? Does he love me too? She said in a whisper and blushing. After a while Ibara and Yui arrived. These, seeing Reiko blushing and the green-haired boy sleeping with a smile, just agreed and Reiko nodded back. 2.5 hours passed, then the girls woke up the green-haired boy. Ibara. Izuku, she said, giving him a kiss on the mouth, waking him up little by little. It's time for your show, you have to go, she said in a sweet tone. Izuku. Yes, yes, just one moment, he said, hugging Ibra, enclosing her in a hug. Ibra, Izuku, it's time to wake up, she said, laughing at how cute the green-haired boy looked. Izuku, what the hell, he said, irritated in his dreams. Upon hearing that word, Ibra lost her tenderness with the green-haired boy, and using her vines she grabbed him and lifted him up to let him fall to the ground, waking him up. Izuku, what's wrong? He said, scared. Yui, time for your show, she said with an aura of pain just like Ibra while her hair floated. Izuku, why yes, he said with fear. I love you, he said, kissing the three girls. Yes, without realizing it he kissed Reiko. I hope they arrive. Goodbye, he said to run away. Ibra, there you go, I think we should get ready to go, she said while Yui acknowledged. Come on, Reiko? She said, confused, seeing her friend all red. Reiko, HK kissed me, she said, falling unconscious with a blush on her face and smoke coming out of her ears. Yui and Ibra just laughed a little at the reaction of their friend and now sister by relationship. Time skip. Izuku, how are you, Ban? He said excitedly, coming out on stage while the entire UA watched and applauded excitedly. Yui. Reiko and Ibra were in the front row watching the green-haired boy while Bakugo and Todoroki were behind the curtains to be able to help him in case he needed it. Hey, I'm really happy that the whole school is here. I don't even know why they like it but buck their mothers. It's better for me, I charge the more they eat, he said this sarcastic so that everyone would laugh. It reminds me of a time when I started as a comedian and people told me what I did right and what I did wrong because people really want to have an opinion. He said this so that everyone would laugh. Look, 10 years ago I remember them saying, raise your voice, express yourself, you have to give your opinion, long live the revolution. Right now, my brothers, we need a new slogan, okay? We need a motto that is shut your ass for a little bit and don't give your opinion. He said this one so that everyone would laugh again because this generation, and I am not just referring to us young people, the old people also get into this. Now we want to give our opinion for everything. Someone puts on Facebook, I like apples. And some guy below says, PFF, pears are better. Who the buck asked you what you thought? He said this one so that everyone would start laughing. My brothers, if the publication says, oh, you who think, feel free to give your opinion. But if the person is stating something, let them be happy with their opinion and don't buck with me. Opinions are like buttocks, if they didn't ask for it, don't give it to you like an idiot. At that moment everyone started laughing like crazy at the green-haired boy's phrase. Even Aizawa let out light laughs. Some cried from laughter while listening to the green-haired boy speak. Izuku, okay? You have to respect the rights of others. I'll give you another very simple example. I like that when I was a child there were rules to live in society. Okay. When I was in elementary school, the best thing your parents could give you was a Casio watch that was a calculator, okay? Those watches were strawberry, dude. They were the best, and it was a pain to hit that hitch, he said, laughing lightly while everyone laughed, or the guy directly, but having that watch was something cool, that's what I mean. And I remember a lot of a friend Dante, he arrived with one of those watches and everyone was fascinated and the guy humble, right? P.S. they gave it to me for my birthday. Ha, he said with a small laugh while everyone laughed. And how about if the calculator works? Yes, but it's a pain to poke it. But it works. Everyone laughed. And how did the watch come out? Well, look, my wrist stinks like shit, but... The green-haired man couldn't continue as a laugh came out of him, just like everyone started laughing out loud. But from there on it's great, he said, laughing a little like everyone else. And Oscar, another friend, joined the conversation and told us, my dad is going to buy me one like that, but the newest model. And another friend of ours asks him, who, my dad? No, who asked you are of a hitch? Everyone at that moment started laughing like crazy, just like the green-haired man. So have you already tell me when I was kidnapped to put on a show for the mafia? He said this so that everyone started laughing again. Time skip. The green-haired boy had finished giving his show and came down from the stage. When he came down, he was knocked to the ground by a hug from the girls. Izuku, do you like me? He said, smiling. Yui, we loved Izuku, she said with a tender smile. Izuku, I'm glad to hear that, he said, also smiling. After that, these four went to the green-haired boy's room to chat, but there was a very nervous girl. Reiko, come on, tell him you want to go now, she said, blushing. Izuku, she said firmly. Izuku, oh yeah, what's wrong? He said, smiling. Reiko, I want to go to our date now, she said, lowering her head with a blush. Izuku. Oh okay, he said smiling. I'll come back later girls, he said kissing the two mentioned. Yui, take care Izuku. Ibara, we love you, she said smiling. Izuku, I love you too, he said smiling. So are we going? He said smiling. Reiko, why yes, she said blushing as she took Izuku's arm and headed towards her date. The day passed quietly, just like the date up to a certain point on the beach. Reiko, Izuku, let's stop for a moment, she said blushing. Izuku, oh yeah, what's wrong? He said smiling. But he couldn't continue when he felt himself being kissed by Reiko's lips. Reiko, Izuku, I like you a lot and I do you want to be my boyfriend, she shouted with a big blush lowering her head. Izuku, Reiko, I don't know what to say. He couldn't continue when he received a call. Yui? Yui, accept it, we give you permission. Izuku, how did you? Ibara, it doesn't matter, we gave you permission to join the relationship, we love you, don't come back late, she said. This is about to hang up. Reiko, then she couldn't continue after being silenced by a kiss from the green-haired boy. Izuku, yes I do, he said smiling. Then Reiko, without waiting, threw herself at him to kiss him while crying with happiness. Reiko, Izuku, I love you, she said hiding in her chest. Izuku, I love you too Reiko, he said hugging her. After that, they both returned to the academy and went to where the girls were. The green-haired boy couldn't help but hug them tightly when he saw them. Ibara, what's wrong honey? She said while caressing his hair just like the other two. Izuku, I love you, he said sinking into Yui's chest forever, he said blushing at the girls. The girls just hugged the green-haired boy while they petted him and he happily just snuggled up to them. It was official, Izuku was finally happy. Izuku, how beautiful life is, Punchy, he said smiling, clinging more to the girls. Couple Fights Season 2. Izuku, life is so damn beautiful. Reiko, are you happy? She asked blushing while caressing her hair. Izuku, I really need a horse to be happy, but I'm happy with you, this sarcastic guy said so the girls would give him a slap. It was a joke, this guy said, crying comical tears while rubbing his head. Ibara, well, learn to be more careful with your jokes, she said with a pout. Izuku, damn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, he said, hugging the three girls, but the three quickly separated. Yui, you better apologize to that horse, she said with a pout. Izuku, but I don't even have a horse, dude. Ibara, so if you would have it, would you leave? She said upset. Izuku, to the mother, he said in a big sigh. Reiko, answer. Izuku, yeah dude, you know it was a joke, why would I want a bucking horse? If I can ride you guys, he said in a flirtatious tone while a rose appeared in his mouth and his shirt went away. At that moment, the three girls had a slight stream of blood coming out of their noses, but they stood firm. Ibara, no, until you know how to control your jokes we won't let you do anything, she said this so that the two girls would nod. Yui, now go and find a way to fix your mistake, she said pointing at the door. Izuku, oh, what the hell, he said with a big sigh as he walked to the door and opened it to leave the room. After a few moments of the green-haired boy leaving, the three girls began to laugh like crazy to the point that tears came out of them. Reiko, why did we do this? She said laughing. Ibara, I don't know, I just want to know what he does to earn our forgiveness, she said this so that Yui would nod. Yui, knowing him something is going to go terribly right, she said with a slight smile. Reiko, terribly well? She said, confused by the combination of words. Ibara, you'll see, she let this out in a big sigh. With Izuku. Izuku, holy crap dude, my first fight, no way, he said taking a sip of his beer. Shoto, and the stupid piece of shit prefers to come here to drink than to solve it, this sarcastic guy said. Izuku, please understand me, I want your help. Bakugo, how the hell are you going to prefer a bucking horse to your women, are you loving it? He said somewhat annoyed. Izuku, no way, I like to ride them but not like that, he said this so the three of them would laugh. Shoto, what if you dedicate a poem to them? Izuku, not very cliché. Bakugo, what do you mean, cliché dude? It's not a bucking story, it's your bucking relationship with three bucking girlfriends who don't know how they work or how to suck, but you have to fix it, we give you the best bucking option and you come up with. Not very cliché, look at me, I'm a faggot. He said this so that Shoto could laugh his head off. Izuku, wait a minute, you idiot, calm down, let's see. Shoto, your bucking old man doesn't have a plan? He said, confused. Shoto, come on, kid, why a plane? This confused guy said. Izuku, if I have to apologize, let it be in a big way, right? He said, smiling. Bakugo, let's see, idiot, what the buck are you planning to do? He said, confused. Izuku, I'll use the plane to paint some words in the sky that say, "Do you forgive me?" and the face of a cat. Shoto, oh idiot, don't you want a coffee? How the hell are you going to do that if it takes years of bucking training? This guy said, irritated. Izuku, come on, are you going to help me or not? He said, already annoyed. Bakugo/Shoto, of course, they said, smiling. Izuku, then let's go. I want to reconcile with the loves of my life, and the tides that tried to separate me from them will be dried up by my great. Shoto, they won't let you buck until you apologize, right? Izuku, no. Bakugo, well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. He said this so that Shoto started running and Bakugo and Izuku followed him. With the girls. Ibara, how is Izuku doing? He said while watching television with his feet on a water heater. Reiko, I don't know, but it's kind of boring when he's not around, she said while trying to do her hair. What are you doing, Yui? Yui, when Izuku is here for some reason I can never make a house of cards. Today I will achieve it, she said while delicately placing a card on top of the others. Ibara, although I accept that it is somewhat boring without Izuku. Ibara, Reiko, Yui, he is very calm, they said with a tender smile. With Izuku. Endeavor, so you want my plane? Izuku, yes. Endeavor, to apologize to your girlfriends for saying that you would prefer a horse over her. Izuku, indeed. Endeavor, you must be an idiot, he said as he was about to leave. Izuku, don't wait, I'll do whatever this desperate man said. Endeavor, whatever? He said, smiling. Izuku, I'll whatever. Endeavor, well, what you're gonna do is. With the girls. Yui, do you feel that too? Ibara, what? Izuku is about to do something stupid. Reiko, wow, I thought I was the only one, she said while painting her lips. Yui, why do you dress up so much? She asked, confused. Reiko, well, when Izuku comes and apologizes, I want to look my best, she said, smiling. Ibara, you know that Izuku doesn't care about that, right? She said, confused. Reiko, I know, but I want to surprise him, she said, smiling. Yui, surprise? She said, confused. Reiko, don't you know? Ibara, know what? Reiko, today is her birthday, she said, looking seriously at the two girls. Ibara/Yui, to the mother, these scared girls said. With Izuku. Izuku, do we really have to do this, guy? Shoto, as embarrassing as it is, we have no choice, he said, lowering his head while Bakugo laughed in the distance at what was about to happen. Izuku, damn Muslim dude, I'm just going to take him to Amsterdam, said this annoying guy. Shoto, can I go with you? Izuku, you roared, he said, smiling. Shoto, well, let's start with this, he said, looking at the ground so that the green-haired boy would nod. The curtains opened. Several pro heroes stood in front of the stage as they applauded upon seeing the green-haired man and the son of the current #1 hero. Endeavor, well, as you know, today is my birthday, so I wanted to have a party with the professional heroes and I brought Izuku Escamilla to play us a song. He said this so that everyone started to applaud. Well, begin. He said this so that Shoto simply started to do a very bad beatbox while everyone laughed, and the green-haired man took the microphone. Izuku, well damn, this goes to Endeavor. Happy birthday, asshole, I dedicate this to you. The two-colored boy continued with his beatbox, and the green-haired boy adjusted his throat. Izuku, wash it hitch paper with soap maraca con catamere. Izuku/Shoto, you bucking hitch, you love having poop pulled out of your ear. At that moment everyone started laughing, but Endeavor was beaming with anger. Izuku/Shoto, Matafaka counterattacks, you know, Izuku and Shoto give you away. Endeavor, come on, stop it, this annoying guy said. Izuku/Shoto, catch Nijo, open your paw wide, rat. Everyone was laughing at the song of the two while Endeavor only went on stage to shut them up. Izuku, Endeavor Madafaka. Shoto, who thinks he's a faggot? The sound of the horn disconnecting echoed throughout the room while Endeavor, annoyed, only saw Izuku and Shoto. Then he took out some keys and threw them at him. Endeavor, there they are, now get out, this annoying guy said. Then Izuku and Shoto just smiled and ran away, meeting Bakugo, who was already at the exit. Bakugo, they were drunk, he said, laughing out loud. Shoto, okay, now follow me, I know where it is, he said. So the two boys agreed and started running after him again. With the girls. They were already wearing makeup and had hairstyles that looked beautiful to anyone, so when they saw that they were done they just smiled and went back to the same thing, Yui putting together her house of cards. Ibara watching television and Reiko reading a little, but they couldn't continue when they felt a slight tremor which was enough to knock down Yui's little house. Yui, my little house, she said. She was crying comical tears. So the girls went out to look through the window to see what was going on. Yui, Reiko, Ibara, don't suck. The surprise they got when they saw a small plane that wrote the words, "Do you forgive me?" next to a heart. Izuku, forgive me? He shouted from the plane. Ibara, of course, he said from the window while he had no choice but to laugh with the two girls. Izuku, well, that's it. Bakugo, yeah, now I feel like this is about to explode. Shoto, what? Bakugo, yes, I put a bomb on him. Izuku, why? He said, scared. Bakugo, it's in my genes, dude, what did you expect? Allahu Akbar, he said while jumping out of the plane. Izuku/Shoto, shit, they said, jumping without a parachute, while the plane exploded in the sky. They were both scared. Then Bakugo opened his parachute, and luckily he was able to take Todoroki in his arms. Shoto, damn dude, he said while watching Izuku fell. Izuku, why don't you come out? He said this scared. Aizu, you must learn to confront your problems. Izuku, buck you. The girls watched as the roof broke and Izuku fell to the ground. Ibara, are you okay? She asked, confused, poking him with a branch. Izuku, bucking great, he said, raising his thumb. Then Reiko came to the green-haired boy and forcefully lifted him off the ground and gave him a big kiss on the lips. Reiko, we like the way you asked for forgiveness and happy birthday, Izuku, she said, rubbing her nose with his. Izuku, today is not my birthday, he said, this confused. Ibara, no? Izuku, no, it's July 15th, it's not until next year, he said this so the girls would slap themselves in the face. Yui, well, we had prepared a gift for you, he said as he took off her dress, and you could see that she was only covered by gift bows just like Reiko and Ibara. Izuku, oh no, yes, bucking 17th birthday, dude, yes dude, quite a man in the blowjob, well, enjoy it, right? He said, turning off the light in the room and approaching the girls. Time skip. It was 3 a.m. We can see a blonde boy known as Monoma doing his homework in his room, leaving a pencil aside. Monoma, oh damn homework, he said, already tired, but he started to hear some applause. Congratulations. You sure love me, he said, smiling. Reiko, Izuku more. Monoma, yeah, I don't deserve any more applause, but thank you very much. Ibara, Izuku, continue. Monoma, they love me so much that they applaud me just for finishing my task, well, no problem. Yui, am I doing it right, Izuku? Monoma, excellent applause, Kodai, but please stop, I don't need any more, but if you want to continue. What seemed like applause intensified its sounds and seemed to get louder. Ibara, Reiko, Yui, Izuku, let's keep going all night. Monoma, well, I don't think it's necessary, but if you insist, he said, sitting in his chair to wait for his applause to end. Amsterdam. Monoma stood with his eyes open and dark circles under his eyes. Monoma, stop clapping, damn it. Izuku, girls, it seems like we've taken too long, right? Ibara, no, let's continue. Reiko, for a few more hours. Monoma, and oh, buck you. Monoma angrily left his room and was going to knock on the green-haired boy's door, but already annoyed that they continued applauding, he kicked it open only to see Ibara on top of the green-haired boy, Reiko sitting on his face, and Yui licking what Ibara couldn't get in. Ibara Yui Reiko, Kia, they said, covering themselves quickly. Monoma, oh my god, they weren't applauding me. Izuku, hey asshole, what are you looking at so much? Monoma, sorry dude, I got disconnected. Izuku, if I understand you, it usually happens. Monoma, and what are you doing, brother? Izuku, nothing, I'm sleepy here, and you? Monoma, also hey, is it true that you're going to Amsterdam? He said while taking out a coffee. Izuku, yeah dude, do you wanna go? Monoma, nah, I'm fine like this. But you should take that bomb kid with you, the asshole is always angry. I think it's the confinement. Take him and if you can, lose him. Yui, get out of here, you idiot, Yui said, throwing a heel at him. Monoma, oh no way, it's true. Let me sleep for Buck's sake, he said, annoyed, closing the door forcefully. Izuku, I think if we spend a lot of time. Ibara, well, there goes our morning, hey Izuku. Yui, Ibara Reiko, why didn't you tell us you were going to Amsterdam? They said with an aura of pain. Izuku, oh man. In another place. Shinso, girlfriend. Arabic, no brides. Shinso, yeah dude, girlfriend. Arabic, no idiots, girlfriends. Shinso, yeah dude, I know you're bucking boyfriend. That damn Izukus has girlfriends. Shinso, okay, well, no one can shut your mouth. This guy heard the pumped up kicks melody. I think your son is calling you, he said, watching his phone ring. Arabic, oh yeah, what's up, champion? Bakugo, guys, I'm going to Amsterdam. Arabic, what good children, you destroy a few things because of their age. Bakugo, yeah daddies, I'm leaving, I'm going to pack my bags. Arabic, yes children, goodbye, he said this one to hang up. Well, as I was saying, now he has girlfriends. Shinso, ah yes, kid, I know, I found a partner. Arabic, oh well, you are stupid, I'm telling you that he got girlfriends. Shinso, I know, bucking mother, he got a girlfriend, I'm his representative, not his bucking mother. Arabic, ah, Almagafil. Shinso, I got that. Arabic, buck you. With Izuku. Izuku, YYT, that's why I hadn't told you, he said with great effort while smoke came out of his head. Reiko, okay, what does that have to do with what we asked you? Izuku, but if I told you, why didn't I tell you? Ibara, you literally bucking told us why it's a curse to be born in Latin America, and that because of a horse you're called Izuku. Izuku, ha, damn horse, he said laughing, making everyone sweat a drop. Reiko, so will you take us to Amsterdam? She said, approaching the green-haired boy, making circles with her finger on his chest. Izuku, I don't know, why should I? He said this playing with Death XD. Yui, first of all because we are your girlfriends, this one takes the green-haired man's member. Izuku, no way. Ibara, secondly, because we are your owners. Izuku, oh my god, he said, feeling how Yui squeezed him. Reiko, and thirdly. Ibara Yui Reiko, because we want to see another place outside of Japan, they said with a tender pout while they were patting and kicking the bed. Take us. Izuku, damn, I felt like my hick wanted to explode. Well, that's better than nothing, he said laughing. Ibara Reiko Yui, what do you mean, nothing is worse, motherbucker? They said with a cold look. Izuku, worse is nothing except not going with you, he said with a nervous smile. Ibara Reiko Yui, oh then yes, the three of them said with a tender smile, while the green-haired boy for a moment felt his whole life pass through his eyes. Izuku, but yes, not only will I go, my representative, Bakugo and Todoroki will go. Reiko, let me see, let me understand, you invited your friends before us? She said while her eyes slowly crystallized. Izuku, holy shit, kill me, a huge bolt of lightning strikes outside the UA. Nah dude, that could have been a fart. Then the green-haired boy hugged Reiko and, extending his arms, invited the girls who, although with a pout, joined him. Then Izuku began to caress his hair. Izuku, it's just that I don't want you to go to Amsterdam, because it's a very dangerous place, marijuana is legal there, and with that I say it all, that's why I don't want to expose you to danger, but if you want to go, I'll take you, but I want you to promise me that you will always stay with me. Understood? he said seriously while the girls agreed to a little blushing upon hearing the green-haired man's voice in their ears. Yui, we will always be with you, and I don't mean in Amsterdam, we would never leave you. Because we love you, the three of them said in unison as they threw the green-haired boy to the ground and began to kiss him, but now calmly. Izuku, oh, sometimes I think that girls like you ended up with a son of a hitch like me, he said laughing. Reiko, well, you are the best son of a hitch that could exist, Reiko said as she sank into the green-haired boy's chest just like the other girls. Izuku, damn, I get upset, because damn I love you so much, he said, starting to cry. The girls, seeing this, only gave a slight smile of tenderness and, hugging the green-haired boy, began to caress him while they hugged him without a doubt, a strange, but beautiful couple. Elsewhere, we can see how a two-colored boy was packing a suitcase. Shoto, this bucking piece of crap doesn't close buck, you said, this annoying guy. But what he didn't notice was someone approaching him. Momo, as Shoto W we can talk. Shoto, no hitch, shut up. Momo, W what? Shoto, sorry, I thought it was Bakugo, what do you need? He said without paying attention to the girl. Momo, okay, forgive me for this expression, but how on earth do you come to the conclusion that I am Bakugo? She said confused. Shoto, hey cutie, he said, blushing at Momo and about Bakugo. I don't know, I just wanted to say that, well, what can I help you with? Momo, you know, I'll be direct, I like you for a long time, since we were children, since we were embryos. Shoto, that's not possible. Momo, that's not possible, but what I mean is that I want you to be my boyfriend, do you accept? Momo said, with nothing left to lose. Shoto, do you know how to cook? Momo, no. Shoto, clean? Momo, no, she said she was more depressed. Shoto, yeah, it's not like it matters much if we have money, he said while burning a $100 bill. Momo, that was your plane flight. Shoto, if that was my no way, bucking Izuku is going to kill my ass no. I wanted to go to Amsterdam. I wanted to see bucking prostitutes dancing for kids in elementary schools. How are you a fool? Bucking crap, Shoto. Momo, hey, it was a joke, it was a $100 bill. Shoto, then forget it, he said, making a drop of sweat come out of Momo. Momo, so. Shoto, but weren't we already boyfriends? Momo, huh? Shoto, yeah dude, I mean we kiss, what were we? Momo, bastard, you told me I was special and then you told me I was your bore while you threw money at me. Shoto, well, now we're a couple, laughing face. Momo, laughing face. Shoto, well, I'm going to Amsterdam, he said, taking his bags. Shoto was about to leave his room, but Momo grabbed him by the arm. Momo, I mean, we just became a couple and you're telling me you're leaving now? Shoto, well, dude, do you want to buck first? Momo, no, Shoto, I want to go with you. Shoto, well, you should be packing your bags because we're leaving, oh my god, what an idiot. Momo, what's wrong? She said worriedly. Shoto, the flight leaves tomorrow, well, since we have time, he said, locking the door and carrying Momo. Momo, will we do that and now? She said blushing. Shoto, yes, why not? He said as he began to massage her butt. Momo, oh. I love you, Izuku short. An orange-haired girl ran through the halls of UA in fear. Come on girl, just accept, it's nothing bad, okay? Said a shadow as it approached Kendo. Kendo, get away from me, she screamed, scared. I just want some fun, I'll pay you. I'm sure with that great body of yours you're a dirty bore, he said, laughing arrogantly. Kendo, and no, I am faithful to the one I like even if he doesn't love me. Oh gosh, poor thing, nah, I don't care, I just want to buck you. He was about to take Kendo by the wrist, but someone arrived. Izuku took Kendo and hugged her, putting her on his chest while taking the boy's wrist. What, no way. Izuku, oh but just look, my friend Nito Kurwa. Nito, hey, Escamilla. Izuku, Mr. Escamilla, for you, bastard, he said without removing his smile that emanated fear more than happiness. Nito, I have to go. He was about to run, but the green-haired boy didn't let go of his wrist, blocking his way. Izuku, You did it with Ibara, with Yayorozu, and now with her, you bastard, don't you understand? Nito. But what do you want me to do? She provoked me. Kendo. What? Izuku, that's not true. I was walking and he. Izuku. Yeah, I know it's not your fault, it's this son of a hitch's fault, said this annoying guy. Nito. But you can't do anything to me. What would the press say about you? Give it to me and I won't say any of this on Twitter, you know they don't forgive me, he said, smiling grimly. Kendo felt nervous. She knew Izuku, the boy she was in love with, but she didn't know for sure if he was more interested in her fame. But Izuku, come on, motherfucker, do it. Nito. What? Izuku. Yeah dude, I don't give a shit, do what you want, okay Kendo, we're leaving. Then the green-haired boy, to her blush, took her in his arms and began to walk. Nito. Hey, you already wanted you. Izuku. Shut up, you bucking moron. The green-haired boy came to Nito and hit him hard in the face, ending up burying him in the ground with a few broken teeth. Izuku. How people like that piss me off, bucking, he said, kicking him and starting to walk with Kendo. Kendo. Should we leave it there? Izuku. Do you mind? Kendo. No, not really, she said as she began to walk with the green-haired boy to the bedrooms. After a while they arrived and then Kendo realized. Kendo. Oh, no way, they were about to grape me. Izuku. And you notice it until now? Kendo. Oh, buck your mother, she said. She started to cry. Izuku. Are you okay, dude? Kendo. No, they wanted to grape me, no, she said, sitting on the floor as she began to sob. Izuku. Damn. The green-haired boy, not knowing what to do, just sat on the floor next to Kendo and hugged her firmly, but at the same time gently. Kendo. Thanks, I love you so much, she said, hiding in the green-haired boy's chest. Ibara Yui. Reiko. Aha. Reiko, we wanted to catch you, you bucking unfaithful dog. Ibara, how could you? Yui, we trust you. Izuku. Play? Reiko. Yes, when we return from Amsterdam we will enter the play as Julitas and obviously you will be Romeo. In fact, we already signed you up, she said with a tender smile, but she noticed Kendo as well as the others. Yui. Hey Itsuka, what's wrong? She asked, worried. Kendo. Do you remember Nito Kurowa? Ibara. Don't even talk to me about that idiot. Izuku. I'm trying to do the same with her. Ibara Yui. Reiko. What? They said with a cold look. Yui. Izuku. Izuku. I already did it and believe me, I enjoyed it. You have no idea, he said, starting to laugh quietly. At that moment Kendo, seeing the green-haired boy's smile, blushed a little and made his decision. Sure enough, he saw the other three. Kendo. Hey, you remember what I told you that time, when I told you that, Reiko? At that moment the brunette opened her eyes in surprise. It's true, she had forgotten. Yui, and you still want to? Kendo. Yes, for a long time. Yui nods. Izuku. Izuku, what's up? Kendo. I want you to be my boyfriend. Izuku. Huh? Ibara. Huh? Reiko. Huh? Yui. Huh? No, I already knew that. Kendo. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Welcome to Amsterdam. At an airport there were 8 people running. They were Izuku, his 4 girls, Bakugo, and Momo, who was riding on Shoto's back. The green-haired boy activated his wings to be able to carry the 4 girls because he was about to miss the plane. Kendo. Izuku, they're closing, she said, scared. Izuku. On Nell, sons of hitches, if you close that damn door I'll close the bucking airport on you, do you understand? This annoying guy shouted. Manager. Sir, what are you? Izuku. Escamilla. See, come in, sir, the A plane will always have time F for you, he said nervously while saying some things on the radio, and the door opened again. Izuku, you better buck and no, he said, annoyed, slowing down and starting to walk, although the girls were still on the green-haired boy's back and on his wings. So they checked their bags and got on the plane. When they got on, the first thing they did was look for their seats, which were all in the same box, except for Bakugo, who was on the other side next to a fat man. Bakugo. Damn, if this guy bucks me, I'll throw the bucking plane away, he said, thinking of 1,001 ways in which the plane could explode. Mr. Fatty. Hello friend, do you want a peanut? He asked in a very friendly way, seeing Bakugo. Bakugo. Really? He said this one so that Mr. Fatty would nod. Oh man, I don't want to exploit you anymore. Now you'll be my friend for life, he said this one accepting the peanut but then spit it out. Bucking mother has no chili. Mr. Fatty, they are diet peanuts. I want to lose weight. Bakugo. The 8 boys fell from the sky. Bakugo carried Shoto and Momo on his back while the green-haired boy carried the girls while flying, and behind him the plane was shown exploding. Izuku, for some peanuts with chili, Mother Bucker? Bakugo, damn gay dude, diet peanuts, what the hell is that bullshit? Shoto, it wasn't a bucking reason. Bakugo, shut up dude and put on your leash, they're about to tame you. Learn to be like me, I am a free soul. Izuku, because nobody can stand you, you are of a hitch. Bakugo, have you seen how asshole you are? Izuku, he let out this in a big sigh. We're going to fall right in our hotel room. What universal convenience. He said this with some grace. But the green-haired boy felt how all the girls quickly passed behind him. Izuku, what the? This one could not continue because it had crashed into a toothbrush poster. This one, when it was stamped, came off and fell to the ground, but Reiko, just like with them, made the girls and the green-haired boy float so that they would fall to the ground. Izuku, to the mother. Reiko, are you okay, Izuku? She asked worriedly. Izuku, because they didn't warn me, he said, all in pain. Ibra, we got scared and we didn't have time to tell you, she said while playing timidly with her fingers. Izuku, okay, no problem, but where are we now? Yui, well, there is a sign that says Amsterdam, the happiest city in the world, so my common sense tells me that we are in Amsterdam, she said, making everyone sweat. Then the green-haired boy just smiled slightly and caressed the brunette's hair while she blushed, but little stars came out from the touch, but to his surprise several hands came out of the green-haired boy caressing the hair of all the girls who had the same reaction as Yui. Shoto, what are you doing? Izuku, a moment of affection doesn't hurt from time to time, he said while playing with Kendo's face, gently stretching it or caressing it. Bakugo, well, from what I see on my phone, it says that Amsterdam is the happiest city in the world, but... Shoto, happy wait? Bakugo, yeah dude, he says there haven't been any sad cases here. I think it's because of that mother bucking marijuana. Shoto, why the buck are you so happy? This annoying guy asked. Momo, but what is it that bothers you, Shoto? She asked, confused. Shoto, I mean, hate and trauma. You're not kidding me. I'm the only traumatized person here? Izuku, what the buck do you mean? Shoto, I mean, you know how ugly it is to be the only traumatized person in a city. Being the only traumatized person in the UA is bad, but in the city, wow. Bakugo, come on, kid, calm down. Kendo, keep going, Izuku, she said, laughing while her face trembled as the green-haired boy played with her. The girls had the same reaction as they felt the same thing on their faces while the green-haired boy laughed at the girls' reaction. Momo just saw this a little sad as she lowered her head but also felt her face being caressed. Shoto, why you like it, he said, blushing a little, turning his head. Momo just started laughing tenderly as her face was caressed, making Shoto laugh too. Bakugo just stared blankly watching all this. Bakugo, name, they like to squander in front of the bum dude, what the hell? Izuku, shut up, you bastard. Bakugo, well, a lot of love, a lot of sucking. I want to go try that marijuana. Everyone thinks it's weird. I mean, I want to go see the canals of Amsterdam, if that's the case, he said, smiling. Shoto, well, at least we know that your attitude wasn't just a matter of will, you bastard. Bakugo, you see how stupid you are? Do you see how you are? The name is that one gives them friendship, and they go overboard. Shoto, no way, dude. The first bucking day this asshole met me, I almost lost my balls. Izuku, hey, now that your quirk has changed, meaning it's stronger, does the water melt or evaporate? Ibara, not again. She couldn't finish scolding the green-haired boy for trying to do the same thing again because the green-haired boy began to caress her face a little faster, but gently. Shoto, and oh, mother bucker, I don't want to find out. No, I don't want to. Damn, what a bucking stupid impulse. Bakugo just took out a bottle of water and Shoto eagerly snatched it from him and put it in his mouth. 5 seconds passed and Shoto activated his quirk. Luckily they were on a road and it wasn't that busy. The moment Shoto opened his mouth, the same substance could be seen. At that moment both boys prepared their fist and Shoto just carried Momo and ran away in fear. Izuku/Bakugo, come on, it's for your own good, you are of a hitch. The green-haired boy carried the girls with his wings and they began to run at top speed to catch up with Shoto. Ibara, Reiko, Yui, Kendo, Momo, Kawaii, they shouted in fear as they felt like they could crash into something at any moment. What adventures await our favorite Mexican in Amsterdam now? Will they pay a translator, or will the suspicions that I didn't mention in this chapter, and I mention them because I only remembered them now, be true? If doubt, you know it. Damn, Momo speaks all languages and well. What awaits our average, not so average Mexican, our favorite terrorist Muslim, and our favorite Mr. Trauma's well? Find out in the next chapter of Izuku Escamilla. All rights reserved. Madness in Amsterdam. Shoto ran through the streets of Amsterdam with a very dizzy Momo on his back looking for a place to hide. Shoto, no, no, no. Izuku, Shoto. Shoto, Kawaii. He began to run faster, as he watched Izuku come with the girls on his back and Bakugo at his side. The girls were dizzy as was Momo, but with no signs of stopping. Bakugo, come on, asshole, we want to help you. Shoto, don't buck with your mother. Momo, as Shoto, I'm already very dizzy, I think I'm going to blurp. Shoto, and Momo, no, hold on a little longer. Momo, Shoto, no more blurp. Momo felt more and more like vomiting due to the speed, so Shoto, being a good boyfriend and man, stopped, put Momo down and sat her on a bench. He couldn't leave her alone, so with all his courage he saw both boys coming running while preparing his fist. Shoto, there I go, St. Peter. Izuku/Bakugo, it's for your own good, you are of a hitch. Both of them hit Shoto in the scrotum. A glass was heard breaking. The workers quickly picked it up, but what they couldn't stop was Shoto, who flew away while a tear came out of his eyes and was lost in the sky. Momo, show blurp. Momo couldn't hold it in and ended up vomiting on the floor. People were a little worried when they saw her, but because of disgust they decided not to approach her. Izuku and Bakugo just laughed. Izuku, but what are you? Yui, Reiko, Kendo, Ibara, blurp. Izuku, oh no way. Time skip. The green-haired boy was walking through the streets with a towel on looking for clothes to wear. The girls were hugging him protectively because of the other women who were staring at him, and the girls were jealously kissing the green-haired boy to the point of leaving him with hickeys. Izuku, is it necessary? Kendo, yes, very necessary. She said this annoying. Ibara, we can't let those harpies see you like that. Only we can. Yui, I don't want them to get close to you. Reiko, or I'll kill them, she said with a cold tone of voice that froze Bakugo and Momo's blood. They continued walking for a while looking for clothes, and the green-haired boy was already starting to get tired. He carried the girls while chasing Shoto and kept carrying them. He wanted to find that clothing store as soon as possible, but none of the boys could continue when they heard a scream from the sky followed by a crater in the ground. Izuku, what the buck? But everyone watched calmly as Shoto emerged from that crater, all hurt. Bakugo, what the buck, where were you? Shoto. Flashback. Shoto, why don't I fall? Martian, because I want to experiment with you. Come, I'll take you to my ship and then to my planet. Shoto, what the hell is wrong with me? I don't want to go. This scared guy said. Marciano, well, you have no other option. And I'm the one in charge here. Shoto, come on bro, you have to see another way. Martian, let's see, you're a very handsome guy and you know, I need a little fun. Shoto, oh you're a girl. Martian, no, I'm not, he said with a flirtatious smile. Shoto, shit. End flashback. Shoto, no, I don't want to remember it, he said while rocking on the floor while Momo comforted him. Izuku, well, now all that's left is to find some clothes or find the hotel, whichever comes first. Ibara, hey, what was the name of our hotel? She asked, confused, snuggling up to the green-haired boy. Izuku, I thought it was called a lodging for faggots. Reiko, no Izuku, really. Izuku, really, If only for that reason I booked there. I like the name, he said, laughing. Kendo, come on, Izuku. I don't think there is a hotel called. Izuku, hey, we're here, he said happily in front of the big sign. Accommodation for bucking people. The boys laughed and the girls just sighed, but they also started laughing. What good did it do them to sigh? They all entered the hotel, knowing the adventures that would follow. A great night plus 16. Everyone entered the hotel. The green-haired boy and his girls paid and entered a room. Shoto did the same, paid and entered a room with Momo and Bakugo. Receptionist, sorry, we ran out of rooms, sir, she said with a tender smile. Bakugo, what? Receptionist, yes, sir, I'm sorry. Good evening, he said as he closed the customer service shutter. Bakugo, damn, I don't mean open up, damn it. Bakugo started yelling into the air. Nobody answered him, so he angrily started walking back and forth, hitting the blinds to get them to open them, and still nothing, and with no other option he just sat on the corner of the floor, and taking out his cell phone he started playing Angry Birds. Bakugo, damn, shitty story. With Izuku. When he got to his room, the first thing he did, to the delight of the girls, was to take off his shirt and throw himself on the mattress. The girls also, without much to do, threw themselves on him. Izuku, today was a very tiring day, he said while the girls began to pet him. Ibra, yes, we almost missed the flight. You crashed into a sign. Todoroki fell from the sky. What's left now? Bakugo is left without a room and is left in a corner playing Angry Birds until tomorrow. She said this so everyone would start laughing. Izuku, don't tempt, he said this sarcastic. Reiko, but well, so what are our plans for tomorrow? Izuku, let's see. First, I want to take you to see as much of the city as possible. Second, I want to buy you some souvenirs and whatever you want. And finally, I'll go give my show, he said, smiling as they began to play with Kendo's cheeks. Lemon skipped. Izuku, do you want me to help you? Kendo, with a tender blush on his face, confirmed his moans wanted to come out with more force as he felt how he was getting deeper and deeper into the green-haired boy, but his blush increased when he heard those words. Izuku, I love you, Itsuka. Kendo, I love you too. They both sank into a deep kiss as Kendo went deeper and deeper. Izuku Escamilla Final Point 1. Yesterday at some gas station in Toronto. That's all, boss. The car drove away, leaving the boy counting the gas money when suddenly he heard some voices. Extra, hey, did you know that Izuku Escamilla will be giving a show in Amsterdam? Extra 2, really? Wow, my son is a fan of his and lives in Amsterdam. I hope he can go see him. He squeezed the money tightly as a great power began to emanate from him. Everyone felt it. It was a power immeasurable. Boss, what's wrong, Jose Luis? He asked, scared. Jose, I'm going to Amsterdam. I'll be back in 5 days, this annoying guy said. Boss, hey, you can't just leave like that. He's already gone, he said as he watched Jose Luis fly away. Shit. May God have mercy on the poor guy who made him angry. Jose Luis, what day is it tomorrow? Wednesday. Perfect. It's perfect. Today with Izuku. He was waking up with Kendo. Both were hugging each other just like the rest of the girls hugged the green-haired boy. Little by little they woke up only to see how the green-haired boy was playing with Ibara's breast. Ibara, Izuku. Izuku, it's just that. I don't understand. They are big, they are beautiful, they are perfect. What the hell did your mother feed you to go pay her everything she invested in them, he said while he began to play with the two. Ibara, Izuku, don't say that, she said, blushing a lot. Reiko, hey Izuku. Kendo Yui Reiko, and ours, they asked with a cold aura. But that aura went down the drain when they saw how the green-haired boy created other hands and began to fondle them. Izuku, oh, all of them are perfect, he said with a somewhat strange smile. The girls only let out light moans as they felt how they were squeezed or lifted and then dropped. After about 10 minutes the green-haired man stopped. Reiko, WYW would YUS stopped, she said, blushing. Izuku, I'm going to take a bath. I have to arrange the day's itinerary. Kendo, okay. Yui, but when we get back you'll still be doing that. Ibara, yes? Izuku, I think it's obvious, he said, throwing himself onto the bed to hug all the girls. You guys are perfect. There's no moment when I don't want to hug you or touch you. Do you know why? Reiko, why are you a pervert? she said sarcastically. Izuku, no, because I love them. I don't know why they are with me, but I want them to always be. I adore you girls, he said, squeezing everyone. The girls at that moment just started to laugh tenderly, and as if it were a counterattack, they lifted the green-haired boy up and hugged him tightly. Ibra, we are with you because we love you. Reiko, you are the best thing that could have happened to us. Yui, I've been in love with you since we were kids, and I still love you like the first day. Kendo, you always defended me and supported me in everything. I thought it was inevitable that this would happen. Izuku, oh how I love them, he said smiling. Well, I think we should. Ring, ring, that's what was heard. Ibra, oh how they ruin moments, she said with a pout as she took her cell phone to answer. Ibra, hello? Ibra, what? Time skip. The atmosphere was very uncomfortable. The father just glared at the green-haired boy while he tried to take one of the 6 spoons that were next to his plate. Bakugo, so Sir H, how did you nervous become a pope? He asked carefully because of the heavy atmosphere. The green-haired boy, unable to choose any cutlery, simply shrugged his shoulders and began to eat with his hands, only to earn an elbow from Ibra. Ibra, yeah honey. Dad, honey? He asked this annoyingly. Ibra, Grandpa. Dad, nothing. Ibra, you know very well what I think of Escamilla. I forbid you to hang out with my granddaughter, he said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, let's see, asshole, what do you mean, the Escamilla family? Dad, a wall of ignorant and dirty people, especially Inko Escamilla. She is a lady who is very far from. Izuku, say it and I'll kick your bucking ass. Reiko, Izuku, he said, trying to stop him. Izuku, I'll break it in the name of God, this annoying guy said. Dad, your family has been full of womanizers for generations. That's why I don't want you to harm my granddaughter. Izuku, you're an idiot. That doesn't happen anymore since my grandfather's generation. Dad, but better safe than sorry. Shoto, hey, I think that. Izuku / Papa, shut the buck up. Dad, I don't want you to be with my granddaughter. I don't know what bad habits you could have taught her already. Izuku, the tricks I taught him have nothing to do with it. Pope, have you already taken away his innocence? Izuku, no. Dad, you already took it away. I hope you take responsibility, you damn worm. Izuku, damn, that's what the buck I want, and you just won't let me explain. Dad, but how do you want me to take you seriously if you're with 3 other girls? Izuku, and you think I decided it? They decided it, and if I'm honest, it's the best bucking thing that's ever happened to me in my bucking life. Dad, don't call that what Christ gave you. Izuku, yes, sorry. Pope, long live Christ the King. Izuku, long live Christ the King. Dad, but how can I trust you with my granddaughter? Tell me, how are you going to support her? Izuku, I'm the best comedian in the world. I make loads of money and I also have a big R. Kendo, Izuku, he said, hitting him with his elbow. Izuku, I have a big herd of cattle so I can survive in case something happens, she said, while Bakugo and Shoto let out a light laugh that no one heard. Dad, okay, tell me one last thing, just one, that will convince me to leave my granddaughter with you. Ibara, my God, now this annoyed man said, throwing his plate of food. Dad, I'm sure. Ibara, I'm not a bucking object, Grandpa, for you to give me to whoever has the best stuff. Dad, but honey. Ibara, no Grandpa, not anymore. Even if you don't let me be with him, I will be with him because I love him. I don't care if you want to disinherit me. I don't care at all, because I would be very happy to have the name of Ibra Midoriya. So whatever happens today, I will still be with Izuku. Do you understand? Everyone was silent. No one dared to say anything. The food that the green-haired boy had in his mouth fell back onto the plate, while Yui, with her mouth also open in surprise, just wiped her face with a cloth. The father just fell back to his seat, a little surprised by what had just happened. Dad, wow, I don't know what to say. Izuku, who gives him his blessing to be with me, he whispered this to earn a punch in the arm from Momo. Momo, be quiet. Izuku, yes, sorry. Dad, Izuku Escamilla. Izuku, for God and you. Dad, I've seen something I never thought I'd see. My granddaughter Ibra has always been very reserved, but this just shows me how angry she is for you. She truly loves you, and I can't take that happiness away from her. I don't fully accept you, but I think I could put up with you until the day I die. Ibra, that means... Dad, you Izuku Escamilla, you have my blessing to marry my granddaughter, he said, smiling. Ibra just screamed with excitement as she quickly threw herself at the green-haired boy to start hugging him and kissing him all over his face. The other girls, Reiko, Kendo, and Yui, also excitedly rushed to hug him, resulting in a beautiful family hug. Dad, and you too, ladies, even though it goes against my religion, I won't find it in my family to perform a polygamous wedding for you, he said, so that the three girls nodded happily while they continued kissing the green-haired man. Bakugo. Well, so now that everything is over, can we keep eating? He asked, so that everyone started laughing and approving. Everyone was eating and chatting very pleasantly. The father occasionally saw Izuku and Ibara, as they talked happily just like with the rest of the girls, and then he saw how Bakugo, Shoto, and Momo also talked happily among the three of them without wanting to interrupt the beautiful family, although what no one noticed was that a certain orange-haired girl was very nervous. Time skip. They were walking calmly down the street, simply enjoying the somewhat cold weather of Amsterdam until they reached the first place they wanted to visit. Girls, the Van Gogh Museum, they said excitedly. Izuku, Bakugo, Todoroki, yes, they said these without desire. Ibara, well, let's go in, she said, smiling so they could start walking inside the place. Jose Luis, final point 2. They entered the museum. The girls were fascinated by the paintings, especially Momo. She was the most excited to be in such a high-class museum, but... Bakugo, and the boars? I whispered this. Izuku, and the drugs? I whispered this one too. Shoto, well, I'm sorry, you'll have to put up with it. Momo wanted to visit this museum, and we'll see about this museum. Izuku, damn simple name. Bakugo, Sniper Nanel? Izuku, no, simp of. Partner. Investor. Multipurpose. Izuku, and bucking. He said this so that Bakugo would start laughing at Shoto. Shoto, hey, you've seen how assholes they are. Izuku, okay dude, sorry, but oh well, let's wait for the girls to get bored and we'll go see what else. No way. The green-haired boy had taken out his phone, and when he saw the notification that had arrived, his hands began to shake. Bakugo, what's up, dude? Are you okay? He asked, worried. Izuku, Bakugo, this is not a simple show. Shoto, what do you mean? Izuku, with this show he could go down in history as the best comedian in the world. Shoto / Bakugo. Izuku, Shoto, Bakugo, ah girls. The girls quickly dropped what they were doing and quickly ran to where Izuku, Bakugo, and Shoto were. Girls, what happened? Girls, Momo, are you okay? Izuku / Shoto? Izuku, girls, I was chosen to. Unable to speak because of his emotion, he simply showed him the phone. Girls, Time skip. They were in a beautiful restaurant. Large chandeliers and elegant food, glasses of wine surrounded the entire table where our protagonists were sitting until one of them stood up. Yui, well, I think I want to toast to an excellent person, a person who, despite what life has given him, has managed to face it and become what he is today, a person who will always be present in my life and I will always love. Then Kendo, Reiko, and Ibara stood up as well as their glasses. Kendo, Reiko, Ibara, we will love. Ibara, that is why we want, if you allow us, that this success is not only yours, but that it is ours as the great team that we are. Kendo, we have formed a family. Reiko, and we want to be with you forever just as you are with us. Yui, Reiko, Kendo, Ibara, we love you. Izuku, Escamilla, now and forever. The girls just watched with a lake of tenderness as the green-haired boy covered his eyes while Shoto patted him on the back, as did Momo. Her tears falling, she began to sob as she cried. Izuku, damn, come here. The green-haired boy extended his arms so that all the girls except Momo could hug him. Buck, I just want to get married when we leave the academy. I want to marry you and live with you. Damn, I want everything with you, he said, unable to stop crying. The girls also began to cry a little but comforted the green-haired boy while caring for him from different parts with love and kindness. The remaining three only saw this with a satisfied smile. Momo smiled more when she felt Shoto take her hand without turning to look at her. Shoto, I love you. Momo, I love you too, Shoto, she said with a big tender smile. Bakugo, you know what, oh Buck, your mother. Everyone saw how Bakugo took out his phone and called someone. Hello? Listen to me, you stupid frog. Oh, hey Katsuki, what's up? Karo. I'll only say this once, I love you. What do you want from what? Just that, goodbye, he said this one to hang up. Everyone stood in silence for a while with their mouths open watching as Bakugo dropped his phone to the ground. Bakugo, no way, I told him so. Everyone nods. Holy shit, I didn't think about it. What am I going to do now? Shoto slaps him. Shoto, hey, calm down, he'll say yes, when you get back you'll see, okay? Bakugo, yeah, but now what the hell am I going to? Boom. Was heard outside the restaurant. At that moment everyone widened their eyes upon hearing the screams of the people who were beginning to leave. The green-haired man quickly made an air shield preventing a piece of debris from hitting them. Jose Luis, I finally found you, damn you. Izuku, Jose Luis. Ibara, Izuku, who is he? Izuku, Shoto, Bakugo, take them now. Yui, but Izuku. Izuku, get them out. The girls, a little scared, just ran away waiting for Izuku to know what he was doing. The green-haired boy quickly began to run towards the attacker and stood in front of him. Izuku, what do you want, Jose Luis? This annoying guy said. Jose Luis, a bucking shot you and me, Dad, he said while taking off his shirt. The green-haired boy, without expecting anything, also took off his shirt so that Jose Luis would smile, and both of them walked in each other's direction. Their muscles were growing, and so was their power. Everyone who was in the restaurant felt that clash of waves, and the girls, along with Bakugo and Shoto, who were on top of a building sheltered, also saw it. Yui, who is the one approaching Izuku? She asked worriedly. Bakugo, his old bullying Jose Luis. The girls remained silent for a while. So that was the Jose Luis who had made the green-haired boy suffer so much. His gaze grew cold, and an aura began to emerge behind them. Shoto, no, it's their fight. Ibara, but we must. Bakugo, he asked us to protect them, so fall down and watch the fight. You don't want to miss it. The girls, a little scared and upset, had no choice but to resign themselves and nod. They saw how Izuku and Jose Luis collided auras, and each one raised their fist to begin the fight. Izuku Escamilla vs. Jose Luis. Final point 3. They stared at each other as the aura of power grew. None of them said anything until the great clock in the city struck the sound of 4. Izuku, Jose Luis. Jose, little Escamilla. Their fists collided and contracted against each other, each of them flying back to their starting places but both landing on their feet. Jose, so you're not a coward anymore, huh? He asked mockingly. Izuku, I could say the same about your stupidity, but you're still just as stupid. Jose, say it. I know you feel good thinking that you can beat me, but why don't we make a bet? Izuku, what the hell is this bet? Jose, if I win I can choose one of the girls you came with, the ones at the top of that building, he said, looking at Momo with some lust. Todoroki, oh no bro, get yours, said this annoying guy. Jose, it's not a bucking thing with you, so, little idiot, what are you saying? Izuku, go buck yourself. Izuku launched himself at Jose Luis again. He tried to hit him with his big arm, but Izuku landed on top of him only to spin on his own axis, giving him a round of kicks to the head that didn't have much effect. Jose Luis did his best to hit the green-haired man in the stomach, which sent him crashing into a concrete wall and becoming embedded in it. I knew it, and I confirmed it. Bakugo, this isn't about resistance. Ibara, oh, what do you mean? Shoto, speed versus brutality. Momo, now that I see it better, one is very strong, the other very fast, but she smiles a little nervously. Escamilla doesn't only have one quirk. Oh, what? Momo, they haven't seen him, we don't even know for sure what his quirk is. He can do many things, but we don't know how. Yui, now that you mention it, you're right, but when we were kids he never told me what his quirk was called. Kendo, And if he can do many things, wouldn't it be a multi-quirk? Bakugo, copy obtaining and evolution. Reiko, what? Bakugo, copy obtaining and evolving, that's the name of his quirk. The flow of energy runs through his body every time he sees a person copying his abilities, and his DNA multiplies, coupling it to his body, and his blood accelerates. When that quirk evolves, it's like he copied my quirk and could make nuclear explosions. That's why he hasn't done it. Shoto, are you telling me that? Bakugo, yes, one of the 4 mystical quirks. Momo, mystical quirks? Throughout the time of humanity, there have always been those who governed, and 4 kings were the strongest, with impressive quirks that would easily defeat All Might and All for One together. The name is unknown, but we do know the quirk. Increase in strength, this is the most common, but it is a force that even surpasses that of the rotation of the earth, and I think that is what this subject has. Ibara, what? Momo, are you telling me that he could? Bakugo, if he did it, he would kill himself, so I don't think he will do it. Then there are the others. One for all and all for one. Yui, but you didn't say that. Bakugo, those are original quirks. The ones that are weak are the copies of that villain, and All Might, the all for one, and the one for all was a quirk divided into 3 people, which were called Shoto, the 3 musketeers. Bakugo, the defenders of medieval times. These were the weakest of their group and the strongest on earth, below the other 2, and finally the strongest. This one was never known where it came from, and at first it was weak, but copy obtaining and evolving it is a quirk that through time has become strong, thanks to the fact that the quirks are saved every time they are passed on to the next carrier, and Izuku is the carrier of that quirk. Surrendering at 4 years old came a great responsibility with it, with which Izuku had to grow faster than normal. Mentally he may seem like an idiot, but he is smarter than Director Nizu. Everyone watched in shock as Bakugo's eyes turned a dull blue. Bakugo, he can give quirks from time to time. He can't do it at will, but one day accidentally when we were playing he gave me one. I discovered it 3 years ago and I knew it was him. He was the only one who could do it. This quirk is very useful for battles. It allows me to see the energy flow of people, but it has a defect. Shoto, what is that defect? Bakugo, it's slowly making me deaf, which doesn't worry me much since with this quirk I can feel the flow of everything, but still my hatred is deteriorating because it's the one that obtains all the information and passes it to my brain. The moment my hearing is ruined, it will use my sight, until it makes me blind. And when it makes me blind, I'll be able to continue using my eyes, but it will use my heart. Until it stops. Momo, what? Reiko, and how are you so calm? She asked, scared. Bakugo, because there is still time for that to happen. In 10 years my hearing will deteriorate completely, in 30 years my sight, and in 35 years my heart. I will still live until I am 51, he said, smiling, and besides, I can't die yet. Because I haven't faced him yet. Bakugo, right Izuku? He asked with a challenging smile, watching how the green-haired boy got up from the wall with great ease. Izuku, do you think you hurt me, bastard? He said, smiling. Jose, what? But you before. Izuku, I was weak before, damn it, but you know now. Regret before Izuku Escamilla. Everyone watched in shock as shadows began to appear behind the green-haired boy, 3 shadows that did not look like him, but for some reason had something to do with him. Izuku, even if you don't believe me, I had a dimensional trip while I was sleeping and I was able to copy the quirk of a certain Izuku Midoriya, a quirk so powerful capable of altering the universe, but even I have limitations, but that doesn't stop me from having some characteristics. She'll call me the cricket. Where are my children? Hello, welcome to the final fight where we will kick your ass. Izuku net? Nita, wow, if you speak Nita? Listen, well damn, I was faking my voice to sound good. You bucking asshole. Well. Cricket, just tell me who we have to beat up. Lorona, hurry up dude, I had to leave Mexico alone, I have a shit ton of people to scare. Izuku, yes, this will be fast, he said, smiling. Jose, no it won't be. You know what day it is today, right? Izuku, it's Wednesday. Why? Oh man. Everyone watched with some fear as 10 giant hands appeared in the sky. Their palm was the one they had opened, as if they were going to give a zape. Jose, every Wednesday I have to give you one, do you understand? Izuku, you know what, motherbucker, buck your bucking mother, attack. Cricket Vincent Crybaby, yes. Everyone saw how the green-haired boy grew wings and a halo. It was Aizu. Aizu, sorry friend, but I also felt those blows in elementary school. He said this to start flying towards Jose Luis. Jose Luis hit Vincent but couldn't prevent a giant salt shaker from hitting him, sending him a few steps back. Unfortunately, Vincent disappeared, being a quirk that the green-haired man couldn't evolve. It was a very weak copy. Only Aizu, La Llorona and Grillo remained. The green-haired man quickly arrived where Jose Luis tried to cut him with one of his feathers, but Jose Luis grabbed him by the wrist. Izuku, damn. Bakugo, should get out of there. It was late. He released all his power, and with a blow to his face he sent him crashing into several premises, going through walls. The crying woman and Cricket disappeared. The girls began to cry, as did Bakugo. Bakugo, I can't feel his flow. Jose, now you are mine, he said, pointing at Momo, who was only hiding behind Shoto. Jose Luis flew towards the building and knocked Shoto unconscious against the wall. Momo got scared and quickly went to see Shoto, but Jose Luis grabbed her by the wrist. Jose Luis, now you are a vine. Hit his face. What? Ibara, I'll leave her alone. Jose Luis, oh, a brave one. Well, let's see if you have that bravery after I kill you. Bakugo tried to give Jose Luis an explosion, but taking him by the hand he embedded him in the ground, fracturing it, and leaving him unconscious. He approached Ibara. He was about to hit her and the girls. Jose, say goodbye. The girls watched in fear as the huge fist with an abysmal power headed towards them. They couldn't escape. They couldn't do anything. Everything became slow, and yet they couldn't run. The girls only painted a light smile on their lips while they closed their eyes. Ibara, Kendo, Yui, Reiko, forgive us. Izuku. Jose Luis was about to hit them to kill them. Momo was crying in fear and a kick sent him flying. Jose, what? He said as he felt his face being stretched and quickly flying against the building. The girls quickly opened their eyes only to see Izuku in front of them, half halo and half horns, a hybrid between an angel and a demon. A hybrid between their personalities. Ibara, Izuku, she said this and began to cry with happiness. Izuku, stay here, I'll take care of him. Aizu, hey, we're missing something. The green-haired boy only gave a slight smile. Izuku/Aizu, we love you. Each one had control of one half of the body and their synchronicity was perfect. A white wing and a black wing, both flew towards Jose Luis, who was still falling from the sky. Jose, when the hell did you get so strong? He said with fear, seeing him. Izuku, I always was. He hit him hard in the face, causing him to fall faster to the ground. While he was falling, he gave him cuts with his wings and kicks in the chest. Even though for him they were weak, he was very damaged, and each kick damaged him more and more. He was already in his last days, and opened his eyes to see for the last time a fist covered in power. Izuku/Aizu, buck you. He sent him flying with inhuman speed, falling to the ground unconscious. The girls quickly got down from the building while Reiko made Bakugo and Todoroki float. They saw the green-haired boy. They saw how he did team move even though he was standing. Yui, you're amazing, Izuku, she said happily, arriving at the green-haired boy. Izuku. Bakugo, he's still breathing, he still has discharge beat, but that's not what's impressive, he said with difficulty while waking up. Ibara, are you okay? She said worriedly. Bakugo, the honor of a warrior is to win, and if he loses he dies. Izuku had no chance and yet he won, being very hurt, but he never fell. Momo, you mean, she said with a nervous smile. Todoroki, it's someone incredible, he said laughing a little. Reiko, but why don't I understand? Bakugo, girls, take care of your boyfriend, seriously. That's worth. Everyone watched as the green-haired boy slowly began to wake up, only for a smile to appear on his lips. He fell unconscious and woke up standing. Happiness and bucked the rest of US final. Ibara carried him with her vines and they escaped. Todoroki, why are we running? He asked with a Momo on his back. Yui, because if they found out that Izuku did all that without a hero license, they could expel him from UA and even go to jail. Kendo, Yui, Ibara, Reiko, and we will not allow that. So they kept running. Ibara, already a little tired, passed Izuku to Kendo, who put him on her back, and they kept running. Izuku, Sorry, but I'll make it up to you later, he said, laughing with some pain. Kendo, Izuku, I know it's not the best time, but. Izuku, yes, I love you too. Kendo, I'm pregnant. Izuku. He fell unconscious while Kendo just laughed with a little tenderness. He knew Izuku and knew that he would be there for her, so they just kept running towards the place where the show would be. Time skip. They arrived at a large theater. The people applauded the arrival of the green-haired man and were surprised to see him on Kendo's back. He was awake but very thoughtful. When they arrived, they gave everyone who came with the green-haired man passes their backstage, and they went in so the green-haired man could rest a while before his show, and then his two friends/rivals arrived. Hey guys, hey, asshole, you look good today, he said, starting to laugh, just like Paquito. Paquito, what's wrong, kid? Why are you so thoughtful? I asked, confused. The girls who were listening, except for Kendo, were also attentive to the answer he would give, since if they knew anything about the green-haired boy, he was not one to keep to himself until he stood up, ignored everyone, and walked towards Kendo, hugged her tightly, and pressed himself against her ear. Izuku, you know that now you'll have me closer than ever, right? Kendo, well, that doesn't sound so bad. Izuku, I'll take care of it, and I think it's obvious. Kendo, thank you, she said while hiding in the green-haired boy's chest. Izuku extended his arm and the girls, not quite understanding what was happening, just joined him. Ohitos and Paco just widened their eyes a little surprised and were going to ask, but Bakugo closed them. Bakugo, it's family time, dude, leave them for a while. Besides, I think it's this blind dude's turn, go see. Little Eyes, hey, asshole, I'm the only one who makes those jokes, no kidding. Well, I'm going to see. He said this so that everyone would start laughing. Time skip. They applauded, whistled and shouted, applauding his presentation. The first of the three candidates for best in the world sat in a corner of the stage waiting for the other two to pass. The same thing happened with Egg Eyes. Everyone applauded his show. He was the favorite so far. Behind the scenes. Izuku, well, it's my turn. If I don't get out alive, tell my son that I love him. Reiko, Ibara, Yui, are they? Kendo, well, they all looked at Kendo in shock. It wasn't a safe day, she said, blushing. Ibara, Izuku. Izuku, oh, you're bucking mother. Why, yes, darling? Reiko, Yui, Ibara, we want a child. Izuku, really, I mean the Kendo thing was accidental, but I'll take care of it because I love him and my son. But think, we're 16, well, I'm 17, but understand. Reiko, we want. Yui. Ibara, they are. The green-haired boy just remained silent with some fear, nodding quickly. Izuku, oh okay, when we return to Japan we will do it, he said nervously. Then the girls blushed, but with a tender smile they began to chat among themselves with excitement about what they would do. Obviously Kendo would join. The green-haired boy just began to laugh nervously, but his smile went away when I heard his name. And well, now the last one. He lost this competition 7 years ago. We will see if he achieves it now. Ladies, gentlemen, with you Izuku Escamilla. The girls kissed him. The green-haired boy reciprocated and came out alone under the happy gaze of everyone. He came out and took the microphone. Izuku, I'm Izuku Escamilla. Good night, everyone. Fireworks on a smaller scale came out from the stage. Everyone stood up to applaud. The girls applauded. Momo, who was behind Shoto, caressed her hair with a smile, while Bakugo and Shoto applauded with excitement. Even Ohitos and Paquito stood up to applaud, and even though it hurt a little, it was obvious who would be the winner. And that's how a story is summed up: the story of a young Japanese man who was taken to Mexico and changed his last name to Escamilla. Who would have thought that this last name would be so well known worldwide? And also, who would have thought a ghost, a yandere, a nun and a fighter would be his perfect girlfriends? The girls came out on stage and pounced on him and began to kiss him. Everyone applauded for the beautiful scene, and in a long time and for the first time, the green-haired boy cried. Time skip. And in a peaceful Japan. Izuku, buck your mother all for one. Izuku defeated the strongest villain of all, bringing peace. Bakugo and Shoto were their previous places, Bakugo as number 2 and Shoto as number 1. Bakugo had gone deaf, and was on his way to blindness, but he still didn't complain. He was happy with his wife Tsuyu, the number 7 heroine. Shoto was happy with Momo. Momo retired from being a heroine at a very young age to be a housewife and mother, having a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. And Izuku, he and the girls had 4 children, each 8 years old. Yes, they had them at 16. But none of them were interested, and Izuku arrived home after a day as a hero only to be greeted by his 4 children. Karui, Dad, today we will go with Uncle Shoto. Izuku, oh, and damn, why? Camry, I don't know, Mommy Ibra just said that we should go since you will be busy with them today. Izuku, buck. A zap hit his head. Reiko, what did I tell you about talking like that in front of children, said the beautiful girl, now 24 years old, with a pout. Izuku, why yes, sorry. Ding dong. Momo, hi, I'm back. I'll take the kids. Enjoy. Bye. Momo went in and out as quickly as she could with the children. She knew what would happen when she met her friends, and she didn't want the children to hear or get traumatized by something. Izuku T then. He was carried by some vines as Yui, Reiko, Kendo and Ibra entered a room, and he was drawn into that room. Kendo, today we will have fun, Izuku. Izuku, chill, he said while the door was locked. My whistle with a flower. Kinoko Komori had become what she wanted so much, a heroine idol, and unfortunately her ego had grown. Izuku, damn, you lack humility. You can't go around calling everyone inferior, he said while smoking a cigarette, and with a baby on his back tied with electrical tape. Kinoko, it's already Camilla, and don't even follow him, I'm about to surpass you. Izuku, be a hitch, my girl, I've been doing this for 25 years, you're still a long way from catching up. In 2 ways, he said mockingly. Kinoko, shut up, Escamilla, one day, I will be the best. Izuku, what? Kinoko, the best. Izuku, my whistle with a flower. Kinoko couldn't help it, she blushed deeply when she saw the photo. Izuku, you fell, you washed it. The baby ran away hanging from one leg while Kinoko just fell to the ground with a big blush.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.